Tonight was Grand Slam Mexico, and that crowd was hot and wild for what ended up being a great show. A lot to talk about, returns, title changes, and honestly, just Fletcher and Speedball going out there and having another banger. So let's get into it.
Ole!
Thanks.
Come on.
Uh-oh.
Yes, boy!
French toast is the exchange student that you have like a 3-week affair with.
Fake. We can see that you don't have pants on.
Somebody hit somebody with a pie. Do something.
Giovanni yelling we're out of time as we go off the air.
Giovanni yelling a lot of things tonight.
And welcome to the Mark It Down podcast.
Hola and bienvenidos to the Mark It Down podcast. My name is Nick Cummings, joined this week by James Asante. Back here once again.
Jaime, because we're in Mexico.
To review AEW Dynamite. As mentioned, this was Grand Slam Mexico. Great show. This was a stack card from top to bottom. We knew that coming in. They absolutely delivered. Before we dive into everything, we quickly say hello to Fernando. What's going on? We thought the show was fire. He thought Davis and Ospreay was fire. And we also say hello to Maria. What's going on, everyone? Thank you for joining us late here after a 2.5-hour plus, I'm assuming, show over on TBS. So we're actually going to start with the second match of the evening, just so we can kind of go through what we thought was the biggest headline. And that was Andrade El Idolo, Commander, and Tommaso Ciampa facing off in a triple threat match to determine who will be the number one entrant in the Casino Gauntlet match at All in London. So we had Ciampa. He came out in red, white, and blue, and he had the flag all over him to get all that nice heel heat. Commander came out to a pretty decent pop, but I don't think there are very few cooler people on the planet than Andrade El Idolo in Arena Mexico. He came out, and he was looking like the real Latino man that he is and advertised as, and the crowd was just eating it up.
I think we need to acknowledge, too, and I'm being serious about this, his wiles, the effect that he has on women is starting to interfere with his matches because he got a big assist in this match from our referee. He got a big assist.
Yeah, I don't know. Aubrey, the first time that happened, she kind of like made a joke about it over on Blue Sky. And you could tell Aubrey's done for the night because she always hots on Blue Sky right after she's done. But she kind of made a joke that like she's like, I love my job. But if you watch her every time he's done it since, she's looked away. Yeah. So I don't really know how she truly feels.
She
about
can
that.
Enjoy it, but be bashful.
Fair. I thought you were going to go in the other direction here when Andrade went over and he took the picture with the woman at ringside. After they cut there and they went to commercial, for those of you who didn't see this, it ended up online. Ciampa went over and kicked the shit out of him and then stole the girl's phone, brought it to the, I think the apron, and then took a dick pic and then flipped it back to her.
My God. I was talking more about how she set him up for the running knees into the corner against Ciampa.
Yeah, and I was going to get to that because that was a part of the finish. But, yeah, when you said women getting involved in the match, that's what I thought you meant.
I don't think it needs to be just one example. That's how great this guy is.
Yeah. In other Ciampa shenanigans, after Andrade took his pants off, somehow Ciampa ended up with them. And he just started stomping them out and hit them with an elbow drop before hitting them with the Project Ciampa.
He did this with the plushie against the Painmaker.
Yeah.
He's doing it here. We need to acknowledge he's maybe costing himself in these instances. Granted, the timing worked because it worked perfectly against Commander. But you're the heel. Stop being a silly guy. I love it. But stop being a silly little guy.
That being said, it got booed relentlessly in Montreal, and it got booed here again tonight in Mexico. So he's doing something right up until the point where people start cheering it, and then, it gets him back to face. But as you mentioned, As he was doing that, Commander tried to hit a 450 and missed, and then Ciampa hit him with a Project Ciampa, which led to Commander kicking out. Just to jump towards the end here, after Ciampa hit Commander with an air raid crash off the top rope and Commander kicked out, Ciampa went to yell at referee Aubrey Edwards, as James mentioned, about the 3 count. And instead, she just berated him into submission to the point where he sat down and in the corner. And as she continued to yell at him, Andrade went to the other corner, came over and hit the Seeing Shadows, barely avoiding Aubrey. And just absolutely nailing Ciampa with it. Andrade
honestly impressive. Honestly impressive.
It really was. Great timing from everybody. Andrade pinned Ciampa, but Commander broke that up. Andrade then threw Commander into the corner, but Commander ran up the turnbuckles and backflipped out of it, and then did a handspring where he sprung right into the arms of Ciampa on the other side of the ring. However, Ciampa tried to get Commander into a full Nelson, and all that time allowed Andrade to turn around and begin to run at the two of them. Commander escaped Ciampa, and Ciampa ended up eating a Dia de los Muertos. Commander then hit, and this is a phrase I never thought I'd say, a springboard tornillo reverse Rana on Andrade. It's exactly what happened. Don't ask me how it happens. And then he climbed the ropes in the corner. Commander then hit the rope run shooting star press, which I think Excalibur said is a Similito Lindo. I could be wrong there. But he hit Ciampa with it. However, Andrade recovered before Commander could make the pin, and he grabbed Commander and hit him with the DM for the win. So, James, this match was awesome.
Yes,
okay, every match tonight was awesome. Let's just start there. This whole card fucked from top to bottom. But I'm not surprised this was as good as it was. Ciampa drew all the heel heat he needed. Andrade was Andrade. Commander was out there, as Fernando was saying, hitting the best move of the night. That Spaceman run he does is just nuts. As Derek was saying, hello, Derek. I know you know it. I saw you in there too. Hi. Basking in the boos from the crowd. Like, everybody played their roles here perfectly tonight. I thought everybody was protected fairly well. And we get Andrade getting the number 1 spot in the casino the casino gauntlet match at All In, as he once again tries to go for the AEW Men's World Championship.
I love the match. Lots of things that I noticed that I really appreciated. There were several instances of Commander kicking out of things that made him look really strong. This was a triple threat. These are the types of matches where you allow guys to just hit whatever, and you can protect those moves by having someone else breaking up the pin. But Commander was taking finishers and big moves from a lot of from both guys, and he was kicking out on his own. Yet he was also the one breaking up pins. Like, there was one instance where Andrade was pinning Ciampa, and he broke up the pin on Ciampa. So I think they did a lot to strengthen Commander not as a performer, but like in terms of his power level, I'd say, in AEW. So I really did appreciate that quite a bit. Andrade, we say it week in and week out. I'm running out of ways to express how over this guy has gotten and the work that he's put in on this second run. It's been well documented. I was a big Andrade fan in the early days, and then I really fell out of love with him.
I think everyone did. I mean, are you just talking strictly AEW or
in general? I mean, with AEW for sure, because it was clear, it seemed that he didn't want to be there.
Yeah.
But in general, I didn't like a lot of how things were handled with him in WWE and AEW, no matter what. But with this second run in AEW, I'm reminded why I loved him so much and why I think he's so great. So I'm really glad that he's getting a chance to shine. And Ciampa's he fits such a great role as a heel. And I would love to see him get a shot at the world title. Like, I would love, in a scenario where Kenny doesn't drop to Ospreay, I would love to see Kenny versus Ciampa. don't get me wrong. I would love to see Ciampa versus Ospreay, but I just think he's so good, and this match showed that again. He's not afraid. Like, he's allowed to be a badass, but he's not afraid to be silly. Like, the stuff with the pants is hilarious. Like, it's silly, stupid stuff. The same thing with the plush. But because he's such a badass, you can get away with it. It's weird. It shouldn't work, but it does.
He's also a psycho, which helps.
Absolutely. So, just fun matchup. Really enjoyed the three of them and their dynamic. I am a little frustrated. I'm going to be honest. I love Andrade. I'm glad he won. Or I'm glad that he got a big win, I should say. I don't need him in the Battle Royal as the Gauntlet. I don't need him in the Gauntlet if he's the national champion. And
it's happened before.
Of course, absolutely. But we've now got this other thing that we're going to talk about right after this, like the stuff that followed the match. I don't think Andrade is now the number one guy in the Gauntlet. He's the first entrant in the Gauntlet. We have a pretty good idea of who number 2 is going to be. And that could have just been a match on its own.
Yeah, I agree. It probably should have been.
Yeah, I don't think it needed to be in the Gauntlet. And especially with what was revealed, and like we'll get into it again. But yeah, I'm happy for Andrade. I think it would have been cool if Ciampa won. I understand they probably wanted somebody to get a real pop out of this, so it should have been either Andrade or Commander. But I wouldn't have minded Ciampa being number 1 in the Gauntlet match.
Same. I still think he'll be in it. I think that's the best spot
so
for him, especially just because I don't have anything else for him at the moment. Hell, I wouldn't mind if he won, but I would think that either Andrade or the person we're about to talk about is probably going to win at this point. It just makes the most sense. Unless they take each other out.
Yeah, which maybe, but then do you push that match to All Out? Because it needs to have a resolution.
All Out's not like the week after or whatever it used to be. It's about a month after. So it's normal pay-per-view time. You could also I know it sounds crazy, but Tony's the type of guy who would actually run that on a Dynamite. So
I agree. I want to acknowledge one. What up, Dev? Haven't seen you in forever. Hope you're doing well. Been a while. And I just want to say, I don't think the gimmick is stupid. I like it. I think it's fun and silly. I think it's ridiculous that this man has not gotten tearaway pants yet.
I feel like he did the first time, and then one of the times.
Maybe once at some point, but 98% of the time that it's been him pulling the pants off, and it does admittedly kill the flow, because it should be like a wow moment, but then we have to watch him for like 10-15 seconds maneuver the pants off of his feet.
It's hard over the boots. Yeah.
So I don't think tonight was too bad. Like, I think that he did it pretty quickly. But in general, man, like, it's not that hard. Other wrestlers that you've worked with have done it. But all right.
I know there's a bunch of other things. I did want to saw a question that I can answer very quickly. You know what, asking why did he stop wearing his mask, being Andrade? He lost his mask in a Lucha de Apuestas before he went to WWE.
Or talking the black mask that he makes the entrance with.
Oh, well, I just meant in general. Why wasn't he wearing the mask? He had it in the intro, vignette thing. Like, it's still part of his intro. It's just he's not wearing it at the moment. I know. I guess because it's just part of the thing he's moving away from, being like more real Latino man instead of coming out in the suit. Like he used to come out with the tearaway suit, which included tearaway pants sometimes. So. I don't know why
when he goes heel again.
I think that's probably why. He still acknowledges that he has it and it existed and whatever. But yeah, I think he's just trying to switch up the character a little bit. I thought you meant like his mask.
Yeah, no.
All right, let's see what else. We had a whole bunch of stuff here. We said hi to Derek. She's hyped for Ace Austin versus Claudio on Collision.
That is the match I'm most looking forward to of round one.
It's going to be very good. And we could talk about the cup later because we
Yes.
didn't really get a chance to talk about it last week. So just remind me and we'll talk about it because I didn't put it in on the thing. You know what? We'll talk about everything with Mercedes later. Derek also bringing up that he doesn't think Andrade and Ciampa ever faced in NXT.
I don't believe they did either.
Yeah, I think Andrade had either left or he was champ and Ciampa was just coming in. So
Yeah.
and that was all DIY. So he was still in the tag division, even if they were on the roster at the same time.
Yep.
Maria thought that the show had 2 5-star matches at minimum. Hitting us with a lot of how'd you knows. Or excuse me, Penguin.
What up, Penguin? How you doing,
hey, Penguin, dude? Maria saying signs Lena and put her with him eventually. Just saying how you know is going to get old. I do not think that is going to happen. I kind of feel like Malachi / Aleister Black kind of burned his bridge in AEW, and subsequently, I think that also comes with Zelina not being able to cross that bridge either.
It is kind of nuts that he is probably one of 2 to 3 names that I think I could confidently say I would never expect back in AEW.
Yeah, never say never in wrestling, obviously, but I don't see him re-signing anytime soon unless he has some serious contrition.
Yeah.
It's saying that the dynamic of who was getting booed and who was getting cheered was kind of fun tonight. Yeah, dude, Orlando, Mexico is awesome. And
it was a great crowd.
Yeah. And for the most part, they tend to, keep it, face and heel dynamics. They tend to keep them straight up and down. But, Místico got booed a little bit tonight, depending on what he was doing. So,
which was interesting because, they adored him for that entrance.
Oh, yeah. Well, it's the song.
No, of course. But, he was having moments with fans during that entrance.
Yeah. It was a very weird dynamic with him, but we'll talk about that more later.
For sure. Yeah.
Fernando saying that they were in Mexico. They had to have a Mexican win this match. Fair. They had a 2 out of 3 chance that one of them would. Yeah. Let's see. What else do we got? We got a lot of stuff left. Let's see. Derek saying Ciampa was in, following up, NXT from 2014 to 15. Andrade didn't go to the main roster until mid-2018, so it's odd they never interacted. I guess it's fair.
Well, I do, like you pointed out, DIY was mostly what Ciampa was doing.
Yeah. See, Fernando saying the crowd was fire. Yes, they were. Even though he hates the Místico song. Fair enough. I know, and I'm sorry. I'm reading too quickly. Derek saying that he hopes Claudio had a match tonight at Grand Slam Mexico. Didn't he have one last night at the CMLL show? I could be wrong.
I think he did, but I also understand wishing he was on AEW TV.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah.
All right, but let's get into what happened after, because I saw you guys are kind of jumping the gun here a little bit. So after the match, Andrade grabbed the mic and he said that this is his house in Spanish, referring to Orlando, Mexico. And then he said he's the proud owner of the national championship. But despite that, he still wants more. So he's going to go and win the Casino Gauntlet match at All In. And then, in Spanish, he says that he will go on to win the AEW World Championship, not just for himself, but all of Mexico. And if you think you can't go and win the Casino Gauntlet match and then go on to become AEW World Champion, he's got just one question for you. How did you know?
See, I got to give it to him. At least he made it work in the promo. There are sometimes he just says it and it's very, what are we doing? But he led to it in a way that I can respect and appreciate.
Yeah, and I think this is kind of the pattern he's going to have to hit if he's going to end his promos with it. He should ask, an open-ended question.
Yeah.
Or be like, if you're not down with that, is always the ends to a promo.
Exactly.
And there's only one word to describe you is always the end to the promo. And they always structure their promos around that to get there. You can work it out where, if you don't believe this about me or that about me, I have one question for you. How'd you know?
Yes.
As Andrade finishes saying that, MJF's music then hits, and Andrade turns to look at the entranceway. However, MJF comes in from behind, carrying the AEW World Championship.
The Triple B.
The Triple B, as James pointed out, and blindsides Andrade, hitting him in the head with it. MJF then takes back the Dynamite Diamond Ring from Andrade, puts it on, and knocks Andrade out, bloodying him in the process. Max continues the assault, eventually throwing Andrade off the ramp for going back into the ring, grabbing a mic, and telling someone to, and I'm quoting here, get that piece of shit trash from this piece of shit country out of my arena.
MJF does not represent our views and our respect for our Mexican neighbors.
See. MJF continues on that he is an American hero and the best professional wrestler in the world, and make no mistake about it, he is your champion. He proclaims that he had Kenny Omega dead to rights, and the match won until that no-talent hack Will Ospreay came out. It's because of Will that Kenny gets to walk around with that paper championship and walk into a main event at Wembley that was his. And he is very upset at the end of that sentence, enough to the point where Shivani is like, or Shivani or Excalibur was just like, and MJF is throwing a temper tantrum. It's okay, though, as MJF calms down, because he says that he always gets what he wants. So next week, they're going to be in Las Vegas, and he's feeling a little lucky. And there's a qualifying match for the gauntlet where the winner gets to enter at number 2. So he's going to enter that qualifying match, win that match, go to Wembley, dog walk that Pero Andrade again, win the contract again, and then do exactly what he did last time. And then he tells everyone to listen up, because this is the most important thing he's going to say all night. The only championship that should be recognized is the Triple B, and the only champion that should be recognized is him. So after All In with that fake main event, he doesn't care who the winner is, because he's going to remind the world that he is your one true champion. So, James, Max is back. And I'm not going to say we've seen this before, especially in AEW. But it's
similar.
Yes.
Familiar.
At least he'll probably be on both shows. But I kind of like it. Like, it works for MJF. Him continuing to carry around the Triple B kind of works for him, because now he's not just consigned to always using the ring. He can use the belt still as well. And, you know, depending on what happens with the Casino Gauntlet, we could see, you know, a really big match between the person who's actually world champ, whether that's Kenny, Ospreay, or other, and Max continuing to carry around the Triple B and have MJF probably finally put in his place.
I think so. My ultimate dream is that this is the way they finally just destroy the Triple B. I don't like the belt. I just don't like the brown strap.
Again, I think we talked about this before. It works for him.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Absolutely. I get that. I enjoy that aspect of it, but I just don't like the belt, and I don't want to see it, even though I understand. I just think it looks ugly. It works for him. The Jeff Hardy belt is objectively ugly in TNA. I like when Jeff had it, but it's objectively ugly. So I would just love for it to be destroyed.
You're just not a Burberry fan, I guess.
I guess not. I don't look at that scarf and think, man, I gotta own that.
I'm not a big Burberry fan either.
You heard it here first, folks. This is the first potential sponsorship that we would deny.
I'm not saying I would deny it. I'm just saying it's not for me.
No,
you would have to wear it.
If you're jumping that, like, we'll take it. You've got to wear it too. But
no, all right. We'll let Matt wear it. He'll gladly take the money.
You know what? I think that's fair. I think we all win in that instance. But I really enjoyed this. We've been expecting the return of MJF. We've been waiting for it. It was always a matter of when, not if. And I'm glad that he's back, because I want as many toys in our toy box as possible in AEW. So I'm glad he's back. I'm not loving the idea of him immediately getting back into the world title picture. even if he, like, I understand the temptation because obviously ratings typically go up when he's champion or when he's involved in the title scene. I get that. But I think they have so many guys that are clearly waiting for their first title reign that I don't need MJF to get another shot, win, lose, or draw at the moment. At the moment. I have no illusions that he's not going to win the championship again. He's obviously going to win the championship again in AEW. But I'm under no illusion. Like, I just don't think we need to do it right now.
He's got 15, 20 years to win it again. I think he'll
right? Exactly. So I stand by. I think it's a little silly that these two are presumably going to be in the gauntlet. Like, I can't imagine MJF isn't in the gauntlet. So it's a little silly to me. I would have rather that they just wrestled over the national championship. But we're here. It's what they're doing. I think that there's something interesting in MJF, claiming he's the true world champion. I think this more than anything leads to a match with Ospreay than it does Kenny. I don't think there's anything really to hit in that, like, to take from that well again.
Yeah.
I would actually, like, I know I'm long-term booking here. I would love it if Will lost against Kenny, but beats MJF, and then he's like, this still isn't the world championship. I don't want to carry it. I think that would be interesting. But more than likely, it'll be Will as champion beating the fake champion, the fake champion MJF.
Yeah, that seems most likely. I think in terms of all in, just short term, I wanted to see Andrade versus MJF. It made the most sense. It seemed to me like at minimum that should have been like a de facto number one contenders match. I know we're getting the gauntlet match where somebody's going to get, their shot, but it seems to me like that's the match you should have.
I'm kind of okay with them not having a straight up number one contenders match because Andrade just lost the last high profile number one contenders match, him and Darby.
Yeah, fair.
So I'm kind of glad because if he's not going to win it, you don't want him to lose two in a row.
Yeah, I mean, that was a while ago, though, and I kind of see him winning it, but I think everything kind of changed with that when MJF came back out with the title and declared himself, the true world champion. So them going into the gauntlet, it makes sense. I still kind of presume they're going to take each other out.
You think Andrade is going to win it? Is that
no? I either I think Andrade wins or the two of them take each other out and we get a winner that we're not expecting. Somebody that's going to be really, really awesome for Ospreay to see or to face.
Yeah.
Give me somebody from Rev Pro. Fuck it up. Like, let's go. I guarantee you we'll have at least one Rev Pro guy in that.
What's the over-under on Leon Slater debuting in the gauntlet?
Ooh, good question.
Because I don't know if you've seen what they're doing with him in TNA. But God.
The whole if he loses the title, his title reign is erased from history thing.
That may be one of the pettiest things I've ever seen play out on camera.
Yeah, that is unbelievable. I read that and I had to read it 3 times to make sure I read it properly. I could not comprehend what we were doing there. But
it's quite frankly impressive. But that's something else. That's
TNA going TNA. Y'all can talk about that tomorrow night.
Oh gosh.
So yeah, look, I don't necessarily know where we're gonna go from here in totality with MJF with Andrade, but at least in the short term, we pretty much know what's coming up for them at All In.
Yeah.
All right, a lot of comments. Let's see, where do we start here? Let's see. Penguin saying that MJF is innocent. There is no malice against any of this stuff. Okay. Did you see MJF beefing with the fan on the way out?
I did. He looked like he was about to burst a blood vessel.
Yeah, but I mean that's just Max.
Oh yeah,
he's good at it. Derek has repeated this multiple times in the chat. He hates MJF so much with a passion. The man is good at his job.
He's a very, very good heel.
Yep.
Very good heel.
We say hi to JT. What's going on, man? You
What
very
up,
much enjoyed the
JT?
show tonight. Thank you for joining us as always. Penguin calling MJF a good Samaritan. You know it, calling us scarf haters. They're not my thing.
I cannot pull off a scarf. I've tried, and even when I can, I just don't think they it doesn't fit well. Like, it doesn't sit right on my neck.
I've never tried to pull off like a proper scarf, like a winter one. The only one I ever think I wore was I had like a kind of plasticky one that they use for like soccer games, 4th of July.
Yeah.
Or excuse me, at USA games, and I wore 4th of July, but like just kind of draped over my shoulders. The only scarves I had are like sports ones.
Yeah.
And that's either fans hold up or you put on your wall, and I'm planning on doing that. I just haven't gotten around to it. One of them is a Pinstripe Bowl one, actually. The other one is for my Minnesota Aurora. Another undefeated season. Well, regular season. We got screwed in the playoffs. That's another thing. Darius agrees with James that the Triple B sucks. However,
I really don't like it.
Maria disagrees with you. She thinks it looks gorgeous.
I'm sorry, Maria. I don't. I know that there are some belts that look good with a different color strap, like the Intercontinental belt with the white strap. That's a classic.
Or the yellow, or the black, or the baby blue.
Yes, but I think the white is the nice.
No, I know. I'm just listing off the ones they had. The white's best by far.
But I think that there's sometimes nothing beats a good black belt with the gold. Sometimes.
Fernando agrees with Maria. Called it the best looking belt in all of wrestling.
That's okay.
No, I think best looking belt is the IWGP World Championship.
I do think it's a toss up between. I mean, it's back. The real one is back.
I know.
I think it's a toss up between that one and the AEW belt.
Yeah, AEW is definitely up there.
Of current day, I'd say those are the two best looking.
Yeah, because they took away the good IC title, so.
Even beyond that one, I love the undisputed WWE Championship, like the one that Triple H debuted after he beat Jericho for the WWE.
Oh, that one. Okay, yeah. They're
I love that
and shit.
Yeah. I love that.
I thought you meant the current one. I was like, it's not bad. It's better than the fucking fruit roll-ups we had for a little while.
Yeah, that is true.
Penguin saying that he's never seen you wear brown, James, which I had to reread twice because I was like, why is he calling you James Brown?
I wear brown, I'll wear brown pants or brown shoes, but I'll never wear a brown shirt.
Yeah, and I'm trying to think. I don't think I've ever worn a brown shirt, but I'll go brown dress shoes, brown dress shoes, brown belt.
Yeah, fair.
See, Derek saying he was actually hoping MJF didn't show up tonight, but he thanks Arena Mexico fans for booing him heavily, so it worked out. See, he also wonders what two wrestlers are going to be battling MJF for the number 2 spot. I didn't see the announcement. If anybody does see that, let us know, and we'll talk about it. JT thinks Swerve is going to win next week. I presume is that the... Oh, no, he's not in the Continental Cup.
No, he's not, but that would be a fun one. That'd be fun for him. I am shocked he's so out of things right now. He lost to Will, and I think he fell off the face of the earth. And before that, he was gone for a long time too. So I don't know where he is right now. It's kind of a bummer. Yeah,
Derek's asking the same question. He was at a Comic-Con panel apparently.
He's been tweeting a bit, and he kind of tweeted he was maybe hinting that something's going to be coming up with him and Kevin Knight as maybe a team or something. But I don't know. Nothing confirmed.
Yeah, I remember they put online Knight was coming around a corner and Swerve saw him and just kind of gave him the head nod, good shit, for turning on Darby and whatever. Yeah. So JT was mentioned that he's resting up a bit, but he still got the score to settle with Ospreay and Omega. So I don't know. Maybe he's kind of just banged up and waiting. Maybe Tony just doesn't really have anything particularly good for him right now and just doesn't want to shoehorn him in.
Which is fair, but we're at your WrestleMania.
Yeah,
you shouldn't have to feel like you're shoehorning in one of your biggest stars.
Yeah, but he's also a guy. He's been quiet for a while. Comes back in the Casino Gauntlet, automatically that's a top guy to win.
No, I agree. But the problem is, let's say he does win it. Presumably, Will is winning the title. Are we going to get a rematch between him and And Swerve?
Yeah, run that back. All right,
But
yeah, no, that's fair.
Didn't they confirm though that who wins gets basically the contract where you just need a week to cash it in?
Yeah. So you can execute it. You can have the match whenever you want. You just have to execute it a week out. So the champion's a week notice.
I really hate that stipulation so much. I think it's so stupid.
I think they were just trying to differentiate it from
I
Money in the Bank, and there was a whole lot of issues and problems with people and everything that happened with Christian when he had it both the times.
I understand what they're trying to do. I just think it's stupid. Like, there's nothing wrong with it being Money in the Bank. Like, TNA has it, WWE has it. There's no problem that AEW has it.
Yeah, was it the Call Your Shot in TNA, right?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, trying something else. Let's see. Penguin, he likes the Triple B. James, I think you're saying that you like the eco-friendly belt.
I loved it because Brian had it. I didn't like the look of the belt, but I loved what it was for Brian. Same thing with MJF, that I love that MJF has his own belt. I just wish it didn't look so ugly.
Fair enough. Fernando saying that MJF should always be in the world championship scene, just like Roman Reigns and CM Punk and WWE. MJF is their biggest mainstream star. I understand what you're saying, and I agree for the most part. Like, he should be in and around the the main title, but at a certain point, you do need to cycle guys up above him to keep the world title scene fresh, to keep him fresh. And when he loses, he has to go do something else. And that's how you get him in different feuds. So, yes, he should usually be near the top of the card. And he always will be near the top of the card.
Yes.
But sometimes, he'll maybe be going for, maybe he tries the international championship one time or the continental one time. Or just, something like that. And that's not a demotion. It's not a bad thing. It's just that this guy has to be doing something else right now because these guys are in the world title scene.
Like, let's acknowledge the fact that MJF has never won an AEW title that isn't the world championship. He won the ROH tag titles with Adam Cole, but that's ROH. So no, that's not true. He did win the American belt.
Yeah, he won, yes, which was the international,
yeah. So. Yeah, I did forget that. But, like, he's primarily a world championship guy.
Yeah, and reminder, that feud was with fucking Will Ospreay, so it's not like it was a step down in terms of quality opponents.
But to Fernando's comment in particular, one of the things that WWE is facing a lot of criticism over is the fact that they consistently have the same names either holding their championship or going for their championship. Like, it's gotten to a point that they've actively incorporated into their storylines. Damian Priest has brought it up. LA Knight has brought it up. It's becoming a thing because they're addressing the fact that so many people are critical of it.
Yeah,
I think the fact
rotating cast of Roman, Cody, Punk,
Seth.
Yeah, like I know Jey Uso was there for a little bit.
Like, you could throw in a name every once in a while, like Drew or Gunther. Or Sammy for 9 days. God. But we all know that all roads tend to point back to those usual suspects. As opposed to AEW, I'm under no illusion that we're seeing a lot of the same names involved for the most part. Kenny, MJF, Hangman, they were all champions. What?
Not anymore with Hanger.
But my point is, they were all champions this year, and none of them was their first title reign, other than Darby. Darby was the only one that it was a first-timer. But there's enough space. Like, Kenny, it's been well over 1,000 days since his last championship reign. Hangman, it's because he is the baby face of the company. Darby, it was his time to ascend, and MJF is one of the biggest names. But I do like that a Samoa Joe can come out of nowhere and win the title. I do think stuff like that is important. Will Ospreay winning, as much as it's going to pain me, is important. So, yeah, my 2 cents on it, just my opinion. But I do think that AEW is benefiting from not booking their world championship scene the same way as WWE.
I 100% agree with that. You know it in comments to Leon Slater, he wouldn't be the first wrestler whose history has been wiped out. Darich, have a good night.
Different reasons. Different reasons.
Yep. We hope you enjoyed everything you got booked to watch this week. A lot of it looks good. A lot of that stuff is going to be running real good. Let's see. Dev says his sister and nephew are going to TNA on Thursday and Friday, and they're going to get to meet the Hardys, and they got front row seats. So that sounds awesome.
That's awesome. Yeah, enjoy.
Let's see. Penguin saying that Finn needs a title run. Your mouth to God's ears. JT saying Kyle O'Reilly or Jay White are his favorites to dethrone Moxley at All In.
I would have loved, once upon a time, I would have loved for it to be Kyle. I think the ship has sailed on that, unfortunately. I think Jay is the heir apparent to that title.
Yeah. And we'll talk about that more in about 2 seconds. You know what I'm saying? Just give me the numbers on how many people held belts in AEW versus WWE in the last year.
If we're talking world belt, we talked about it this last weekend when we were covering SummerSlam. AEW from like All In to All In had 6 to 7 championship world title reigns.
Right. With over what, like 5 people?
Hangman, Joe,
MJF, Kenny.
No, Darby.
Oh, in order.
Yeah, Darby, MJF, Kenny. So 6.
Yeah, and then presumably Ospreay wins.
Yeah, presumably Ospreay. So in like a 12-month stretch, that's 7 people holding the world championship. And I don't think at any point did any of those title reigns feel shortchanged. Maybe Joe, because it was so clearly a transitional reign. But he also dethroned Hangman Adam Page. That's a big deal.
Yeah. All right, but Penguin agrees with you if that makes you feel any better. All right. Speaking of all of the Continental stuff, let's go to the top of the show and talk about that match, and then we'll get into the cup itself. But we had Cope and Cage teaming up with the Young Bucks going up against Jon Moxley, Wheeler Yuta, Daniel Garcia, and Pack of the Death Riders. Cope came out with a mask on, which is really cool. And let me just say how surreal it was watching Adam Copeland and Christian Cage make entrances in Arena Mexico. Like, what? Like, in what world did we ever think that was possible up until recently, right? And this is why it's great that we have 2 companies.
Yep. Cope recently having done his that list he posted on social media, very reminiscent of Cody Rhodes making his infamous list years ago.
Yeah.
Arena Mexico, right at the top of his list.
Yeah, it was that. And it felt more like an order because he's doing tonight, and then he's going up to is it Toronto? Yeah, with the Maple Leafs Garden.
Yeah.
And he's wrestling there for MLP. And then the next one was Tokyo Dome. Or there's one more in there, I think, and then Tokyo Dome. And it's like, I think it was Wembley.
Yeah.
And then Tokyo Dome. And it's like, although he did Wembley already. Either way, Cope in New Japan. Woo!
If this was 10 years ago, oh man, all right, 15 years ago, I would have loved to see him in a G1.
Yeah.
But
I doubt he's doing that now, but
him
at Tokyo, him at Wrestle Kingdom is going to slap.
I agree.
On the flip side of things, Pac came out in the England national team jersey, and for those of you who missed it, they eliminated Mexico in the World Cup. So that's a top tier troll from Pac.
That's dirty.
All right, let's see. One good thing I wanted to note in the match is that Nick Jackson and Cope hit a 619 together, which was just fun. But to jump towards the end of the match, Marina Shafir got herself involved when Cope was lining up Moxley for a spear, and she jumped on the apron and started pulling at his hair. So then Christian came over and pulled her off the apron, and they kind of had a stare down. So Marina headbutted him, and in retaliation, Christian, who had already kicked somebody in the dick earlier in the match,
Mox.
Yes, he cunt punted her.
And the only reason,
Excalibur.
I was gonna say the only reason Rev uses that vernacular is because Excalibur definitely alluded to it without being able to outright say it.
Yes, I believe he said it's some kind of punch, although I don't know the correct vernacular.
Yeah.
But if Michael Shannon can say it, I can say it. Anyway, a little later in the match, Cope and Moxley were left one-on-one after, everyone took everybody else out. And Cope hit a spear onto Mox and pinned him. But Wheeler Yuta...
He had him beat. He had him down.
Yes, he had him down for the 3. But Wheeler Yuta was the only other man standing. And he wasn't even just distracting referee Bryce Remsburg. He was basically holding him by the collar. And Bryce wasn't able to turn around and count the pin. So he just missed it. And then Pac came in and broke that up. In the process, he threw Cope into the ropes and attempted to lariat him as Cope bounced back. Copeland ducked it and tried to hit the ropes on the opposite side, but as he was doing so, he accidentally ran into Matt Jackson, who had just gotten up onto the apron. That distraction basically just stopped Copeland in his tracks, and he looked around, checked on Matt a little, checked to see if he was okay, and in the process allowed Moxley to roll him up. Moxley grabbed a handful of trunks, and he kept Copeland down for the 3 and the win. And afterwards, we can just see the losing team discussing what happened. Everyone kind of seemed apologetic about it. Matt was like, oh, that's my fault. Cope's like, no, it was mine. I shouldn't have been distracted. And Christian basically just blamed the Bucks and walked away.
Christian's like, no, they're right. It is their fault.
But I like this match a lot. It was a great way to start the show. The crowd was super amped up to watch Copeland come in and have his, do his entrance. For the first time ever, I'm presuming, in Mexico, and be able to, sing Metalingus. Like, they were super amped for this. So great way to get things rolling here at Grand Slam.
No, I'd agree. I think it was a fun matchup. It had a lot of talent in it. There was one spot that I'm sure it's not the first time it has been hit, but I really just took note of how much I liked it and how much I wish that they committed to these two. But there was one spot where it was Garcia and Yuta that Garcia had, I don't even remember who it was, but had somebody in an STO position. And Yuta bounces back into the corner and then hits a Busaiku knee, and then they double drop the guy.
Oh, yeah. There was during a lot of chaos, I think. Yes. It was right before the end. So it was either Cope or Cage. I don't think it was one of the Bucks.
And my point being above all of it is that I just think that these two have so much potential. Like, it's a well-known, quote, secret that they had a history with each other prior to AEW. Those two, Yuta and Garcia. They had wrestled on the indies on several occasions. And I wish that they actually were allowed a shot at being a tag team. You weren't here for it, and it's something that I discussed when I covered, I think, Dynasty by myself. All I know is I wasn't with you when I was covering something.
Right. It was the last pay-per-view, which was Redemption.
Redemption, not Dynasty. In my heart of hearts, I think Yuta and Garcia would benefit so much from a switch to the Dogs. I think if they were Dogs, and I think I'm just throwing out the name, if Sheamus came into the Death Riders, both groups benefit from that change. Where you have Sheamus and Claudio as the tag team, you have Pac as your mid-carder, and you have Mox at the top of the group, and then the Dogs, you have either Finlay or Gabe Kidd as your main eventer, and then you have Yuta and Garcia as your tag team. And then the other two can just go for whichever mid-card belts between Connors and whoever, Kidd or Finlay. Yeah. So I think they would really benefit from that because it feels like they are just the goons of the Death Riders. And they've been in AEW too long to just feel like the backup too.
Yeah. And I see what you're saying there because I wouldn't even mind if it was almost like a loan thing, considering that the Death Riders and the Dogs work together. If Moxley was like, hey, go train with those guys for a bit, back them up.
Yeah.
So I can see that working. I also am a little surprised maybe they haven't gotten like a Ring of Honor tag title run. I don't know who the champs are at the moment, but it seems like something that would be perfect for them to get gold onto Garcia and Yuta.
Yeah.
And establish them as a little bit more of a tag team. It boosts. I know people hate all the different titles in AEW, at least in the chat here, but it still boosts their prestige a little bit going into matches and doesn't make them automatic pin eaters, which Tony does a good job of making sure they're not. But yeah, I think they could use a little more seasoning in terms of like just trying to change a little something up to get them rolling a bit more instead of just being background players. For the Death Riders.
Yeah.
All right, I got a few comments here, and if I say a few, I mean like 17. See, Penguin calling Kyle Fletcher a main event winner in the future. That's definite.
Oh yeah, it's when, not if. When.
Yep. See, Penguin's ready to see Marino win the title with the men's. I'm in.
Good on her for taking that spot, by the way. It's a fun spot.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a safe spot. She's not getting hurt, but it's a fun spot.
But I mean, they've done it in the women's division a bunch. A, and B, Christian equal opportunity offender.
Yeah. My point is, it's a fun spot it's a memorable spot for the match.
Yeah. I mean, look, as Batman always says, the hammer of justice is unisex. Now, this wasn't a hammer of justice.
I mean...
This is a kick from your dad, but let's see. JT asking, when do you think this Cope and Cage versus the Bucks program will heat up? Soon. I mean,
I would be shocked if by next week.
Yeah, they're still playing this like we still have a lot of respect for you thing, but at some point somebody's going to say or do something to set the other one off.
Yeah,
exactly. It has to happen. There needs to be a little more heat on this than, we like you guys and you kind of like us, except Cage, but whatever. Maria liked this, thought it was very fun. 8-man.
Yep.
Asking, what did you guys think about what Roman said about Mox recently? I didn't see it. Did you?
I mean, I saw that he did an interview and that he mentioned Mox. That I didn't see the full interview. I saw a clip and it was basically just they never really knew what Mox was up to, but they always knew when it was time for the bell to ring and their music to hit, he would be there, and he always was.
Yeah,
I saw that. I saw that clip. If there was something more, let me know. But yeah, I don't know. It does feel interesting that sometimes they don't know what to say about Mox, and I understand the politics of it all. But
yeah, I know that Seth has come out and said before, he's like, I love Mox, but Mox doesn't know how to use his phone. He never texts us unless something important is going on. He's like, I know more about what's going on with Mox from Renee. I text her every day. I never hear from him. But, I pop in every once in a while and we hang out and everything's good. It's just that's the kind of dude he is. So, let's see. Penguin calling Christian father of the century. I cannot disagree. Maria thinks that Christian is going to turn on Copeland again after they lose to the Bucks at All In. I hope not.
I hope not either. I mean, if they want their last match to be against each other, that's fine. But I don't think you need to go that route.
I'm hoping it's a little bit further down the road than them breaking up in the end of the month. But
I mean, I do feel that this is the last year for Cope. I think he's done at the end of this year.
Oh, like World's End of the year? I know he's mentioned he's pretty close. So
yeah, I think 2026 is his last year as a professional wrestler.
Yeah. It's saying, speaking of Christian, they should have gave us the Spanish word of asshole for his intro screen. I know. It misspelled it, and I think Penguin got it. Yes, pendejo. I don't know if that directly translates. I know that.
I don't think
what it is.
Yeah, I don't think it's asshole. I think I'll look it up. You keep going.
Yeah, go to Google Translate over there. There's not much else. What also saying that his French is better than his Spanish. Parlez pour français. I don't. That's all I know how to say in French is, do you speak French?
I will never forget that is definitely not correct. Not what Penguin said, but what my translate is not correct there. I will never forget in college, I had to take French 101, and I go into the class. I'm the first person in class, and I ask the teacher, "Hi, I'm sorry, is this French 101?" And she responds in a full French sentence. And I was so annoyed at her that I just walked out of the class. It just felt so pretentious.
Yeah. Penguin backing us up here. It's dumbass. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay, thank you.
We sound like a couple of pendejos. All right. So with Moxley and everything, I guess now it would be a good time to talk about this Continental Cup. So
Woo!
Set it up for everybody. This got announced the other day. And basically how all of this works is there's no outside interference for all the matches, no time limits. There's 16 wrestlers in the tournament, blind draw matches. So they have the first round, then
go ahead.
They had the first round, which they already set up in a blind draw. And then everybody who wins those, the 8 winners, they compete in 4 blind draw matches. Those 4 winners move on to the semifinals in Glasgow before Wembley, and then the cup final takes place at Wembley. Winner gets the Continental Cup and will be the new AEW Continental Champion.
Yes, which then in turn will set up for the C2.
Yes.
So it's basically tournament into a tournament, which is kind of nuts.
Yeah, and we'll get to that part of it in a second. I just wanted to run down the first matches here. So I think we mentioned earlier. Yep. Okay. I'm on the AEW official website, so of course I do.
Me too, actually.
Claudio Castagnoli versus Ace Austin, Jake Doyle, Eddie Kingston, and Orange Cassidy versus Matt Sydal will all take place on Collision, which believe is this Saturday. Yep. We then have Jungle Jack Perry against John Moxley and Switchblade Jay White against David Finlay next week on Dynamite. Brian Cage versus Cesaro, Kyle O'Reilly versus Roderick Strong, and Katsuyori Shibata versus Nigel McGuinness, and that'll be on Collision on August 15th.
I would like to just say for everybody, Tony Khan, blind draw.
Yeah.
My ass. My ass, okay?
A lot of coinky dinks there.
Oh, too many coinky dinks. I don't mind because I think I'm excited for literally every single one of these matches. But blind draw, liar. Just liar.
I mean, yeah, you can run all of these down and you're just like, really? Like Claudio Ace Austin, the Bang Bang Gang is feuding with the Death Riders.
Exactly.
Jake Doyle versus Eddie Kingston. Okay, fine. That's kind of a random one.
That's because Eddie needed to, if Eddie's in this tournament, he needed to wrestle someone.
Exactly. And fine. But he has no love lost for the fucking Don Callis family. Orange versus Matt Sydal, same thing.
Yeah. If Matt Sydal's in this tournament, he has to wrestle someone.
I haven't seen Matt Sydal in 5 ever.
I legitimately forgot he was with AEW. Like, I knew he was with AEW, but, like, I thought he was just an ROH guy. I did not know he was still with AEW.
Yeah, I wasn't sure what he was necessarily doing there. Jungle Jack versus John Moxley. That seems kind of random. And it's just a good match. But
he's part of the Elite.
He's part of the Elite.
Are feuding with all of that.
Yeah, to an extent. So you got that. Jay White versus David Finlay is just way too on the nose. Brian Cage versus Cesaro, considering all of the beef in the Don Callis family at the moment, it's a little risky for Don.
It also feels like the counterpart to this next match, the conglomeration match that we're getting.
Kyle versus Roderick Strong.
It feels like the Bizarro version of it.
Yes. That one should be good, though. That one I'm looking forward to a lot.
Both of them. I'm looking forward to both of them.
Oh, yeah, of course. And then the pièce de résistance, Shibata versus McGuinness, is just something one of them probably wanted to do.
Somebody said it. Can you imagine telling someone in 2018 that Shibata would be wrestling Nigel McGuinness? No one would believe you. No one would believe you. They think you're crazy.
You mean the guy who, where they took the brain out of his skull? Like that guy? His face is the guy with all the concussions?
Yeah, versus the guy who had to retire because he had hepatitis.
Yeah.
Years before? What's happening?
Look,
I'm excited.
I'm going to say this right now, because I think I mentioned it last week when this kind of came up with Moxley, just kind of surprised us all with it. I'm sure this will all slap. I didn't even know what the matchups were, who was in it last week. We know now. It looks great. I just do not understand, A, why we need this.
Yeah.
And B, why we need this so close to the Continental Classic.
So I agree with you on both of those questions. To go for the first one, I think the answer is probably whatever plan they had for Mox had to change. I think the combination of being so heavily involved in Will Ospreay's story makes it a little bit harder for him to also have his own rivalry. And it's easier for him to just have matches that now have a purpose. I also think there's a good likelihood, going back to what I said, that probably, like, I think it was supposed to be him versus Swerve. But
It felt like it.
It really did. And I think for some reason, something's going on with Swerve, so they needed to come up with something else. And they've already been teasing the notion of Jay White versus Moxley because Jay has been saying he's got a problem with the Death Riders.
Yep.
He's going to go after the head at some point, and that is Mox. So this is a way to justify Jay White getting that title match after being gone for so long. He's about to win a bunch of matches and get himself into that title match at All In. So as for how it pertains to the C2, if this was going to happen, I think this is the most ideal way of doing it. Because basically, Moxley is just going to be defending the title as if he wasn't in a tournament. Every match he's in is essentially a title match for him. If he wins all the way through, they're all title matches for him.
Yeah.
And then whoever makes it all the way to All In has basically been running through number one contenders matches. So it's no different than if Mox was just week in and week out defending the Continental title. This tournament...
which he does almost all the time anyway. So
Exactly. So I think that goes back to what I was saying in the first point. They need him to have something important to do at All In, and this is a way of getting him a title match without distracting from the Death Riders Will Ospreay story, and without him being in like a feud of his own, whilst also feeling important. And because it's so different than the C2, it doesn't feel like it steps on the toes of the C2.
right, it does make sense. I'm not going to sit
Yeah.
here and deny it in terms of honestly, in terms of what you just laid out. Like you laid it all of that out perfectly. So it's going to be good. It'll work storyline wise. Again, I just don't understand. It's very close to the C2.
Yeah.
Usually C2 season kicks off very shortly after the
All In.
after all.
I think it starts it All Out.
Usually, yeah, or somewhere around there. So it's very weird to me that you're going to do this tournament. And I understand you want to get the title off of Mox, and this is a very good way to do it, assuming that is what happens.
Yeah, we might not get the title off Mox. He
Assuming,
might.
yeah. But having somebody go through this tournament and then either retain or win the title and then immediately be thrown into the C2 just seems like a lot. Seems a lot very quickly.
My one thing that I am not going to like if they do, the only aspect of this that I can see myself saying, I wish they didn't do this, it feels like a waste of time, is if the two finalists are a very long way to get to a very simple outcome.
Yeah, especially if it's that latter one,
Yeah.
you could have just skipped this whole
Exactly. So the only version of that I'll accept is if, let's say, Jay White beats Mox in the cup, and then in the C2, Mox pulls up a win over White, but still doesn't get to the finals. That's the only, that is the one scenario where I'll accept that. But otherwise, yeah, that is my one worry.
Yeah. I'm trying to think. I don't know. It'll work. I hope it works. I really do hope it works.
I have faith. There's no reason for us not to have faith.
I also think there's a good chance, should Moxley lose the title at All In, that he goes back into the world title discussion because that Will Ospreay Moxley match has to happen.
Yeah, no, I agree.
So he might not even be in the C2 because
he's going to be facing Ospreay.
Exactly. So
or theoretically Kenny, but no, most likely Ospreay.
Oh yeah, they could be feuding again too. Like there's a chance that both happen.
Yeah.
So
very likely. Very likely.
All right, couple comments here. JT making a joke that Fletcher and Ospreay have to have TK holding his breath backstage with the way they wrestle. Yeah, but both of those matches tonight, like they're big players in the upcoming biggest pay-per-view of your year. Got to be careful.
TK just snorting a line after both matches.
Yeah. Oh, okay. just ripping a shot of whiskey. Or with in his case, White Claws. James should have said croissant to the teacher or omelette de fromage.
I'll do both for you now. Croissant and omelette du fromage.
Which I think technically isn't the proper French, but whatever.
Dexter would not put me down the wrong path.
I think it might be day instead of do, but or maybe he might say day in the show and then do is the proper way. It's something like that.
Gotcha.
JT joking with the fact that it's a blind draw. Yes, of course not. Both Penguin and our team Nigel against Shibata.
Oh, I am too. Yeah.
Honestly, just have that under pure rules. That's what it's gonna be essentially. Yeah. Penguin picking up your slack here, James. Death Rider leader Renee, the puppet master of all of this.
Let's just be honest. Last week on Dynamite, did she not lead Will Ospreay down a dark hallway right to the Death Riders?
I mean, he was already walking in. She just happened to meet him there.
Yeah, conveniently lulling him into a false sense of security.
If anything, the Death Riders followed her there.
Okay.
If anything, she brought them under your pretense. I think they just all knew where the entrance to the show was.
I say this with love because I love you and I respect you. You sicken me.
Yeah, it's my job here. It's saying all in, all out. Why hasn't In-N-Out Burger never sponsored these pay-per-views? It's a good question, especially considering the Bucks are from Cali. But
let them know.
I'm pretty sure the Bucks have had In-N-Out gear before.
I wouldn't be shocked.
I don't know if it was on AEW, but I'm pretty sure they have. Okay, so after we had our opening match, we had everything with Andrade and his match, and then MJF coming back. And then we had a video package. There was a Kenny Omega Will Ospreay video package, but whatever. We had a video package setting up our next match, which was Willow Nightingale. We'll set that backwards. And the Brawling Birds facing off against Mercedes Moné and Divine Dominion.
This was a fun one.
Yeah, I like this a lot. Let's see. I'll just jump to the end. As Willow was going for the Babe with the powerbomb on Moné, Divine Dominion came in. They broke that shit up. And then they set Willow up for the From Heaven to Hell chokeslam. However, the Birds came in from behind, and they hit Stereo Germans onto the tag champs, and that sent everyone out of the ring. Well, then again, went for the Babe with the powerbomb on Mercedes, but Mercedes got out of it and tried to get Willow up for a Moné maker. Mercedes wasn't able to get her all the way up, though, and then after some hand fighting, Willow was able to get Moné down to the mat with a backslide and kept her down there for the 3 and the win. And then after the match, Divine Dominion versus Brawling Birds for the AEW Women's World Tag Team Championships was made official for All In, as apparently they were part of the team that handed Divine Dominion their first loss.
Yep.
So even though it wasn't a tag team loss, apparently this is the first time they've been in the ring together and taken an L, which is crazy. Yes. But like you said, James, I like this match a lot. I think my biggest takeaway is this confirmed what I already assumed to be true, is that the Birds versus Divine Dominion is going to be an absolute banger where those 4 women just beat the absolute piss out of each other.
We obviously got a taste of it tonight, but I think it's very clear they have great chemistry. They wrestle I don't want to say they wrestle similar styles because I don't think that's necessarily true, but their styles complement each other very well. Hard-hitting strikers against powerhouse, I don't want to say monsters because look at them, but like powerhouse monsters.
Yeah.
I'm very much looking forward to that tag team match. We called it a while back, I think it was a fairly obvious call, but like we called it a while back.
I mean, when they had their vignette to come back after, like, all right, we're done with the single shit. We're like, all right, they're winning the titles at All In.
Yeah. When they were in the tournament, when they were in the Owen, we were like, they're just going to be a tag team and go for the tag titles.
Yeah.
But I'm happy that we're right because that's the right call, and I think it's going to be a great match. And quite frankly, I do think they're the right team to take the titles off of Divine Dominion. I'm not rooting for Divine Dominion to lose the titles, but they are the right team to do it. Getting to the other part of this match, which is Mercedes and Willow, I am starting to sweat bullets for Willow here.
Well,
The
it's pretty pissed off that Mercedes took the win because
Yep.
I'm pretty sure he posted this twice at the start of the show.
He was not happy that Mercedes lost. I will back something up on that, although it's for different reasons than why he's saying it. I am never a big fan. I am a believer that when you have matches like this, where it's a tag team match or a multi-person tag team match, where it's obvious like there's 2 or 3 feuds going on, I don't think the people feuding should be involved together in the pin. Like in this 6-woman tag, I think if Willow's going to get the pin, she should be pinning either Lena Kross or Megan Bayne.
Which
and
was
vice versa.
not happening.
Of course not. Of course not. Or vice versa. Megan Bayne or Lena Kross should not be pinning either of the Birds. They should be pinning Willow. And vice versa. I think Mercedes should not be pinning Willow. She should be pinning one of the Birds. Or the Bird should be pinning Mercedes. I don't think if you're in the feud, you should be pinning either. Because now all I have is that mindset going into the match. If Willow had pinned, I'm just throwing it out. Let's say Mercedes had pinned Jamie Hayter. I'm not going into All In thinking, well, she got the win over Willow, so Willow's obviously going to win. I'm thinking, okay, nobody's beaten anybody. It's kind of open as to who can win this because nobody looks weak against their opponent or looks strong against their opponent. So I kind of wish that they didn't have Willow pin Mercedes tonight, unless the idea is they really want you to think Mercedes is in trouble and she surprises with the win. But she's the heel, so I don't want to be surprised that she gets the win.
Yeah, I think the story here more is that Willow just has Mercedes' number.
Yeah.
And I know that Mercedes has beat her before. I believe that's how she won the TBS title in the first place. But if you pair this with their promo from the other week, that kind of feels like what they're going for. So it's tough. I agree with you that having, one of those 2 women pin one of the women in the tag match probably makes a little more sense. And that's something WWE does a lot, unless somebody pins the champ and they're like, oh my God, they have a chance. And the champ just absolutely wrecks them at the pay-per-view. But yeah, this one was interesting. I feel like you don't usually see the champ pinning the challenger before their match at a pay-per-view.
And it's usually, if they do that, sometimes it's usually the heel champion beating the babyface challenger because it builds that drama of, can she do it? So interesting way to go. I thought this was, I don't dislike it. I enjoyed the match. I think all 6 women brought it, but I think the outcome for me stresses me out more than anything else.
Would you have been cool if you want to try to keep the team winning the same and you want to continue to protect Divine Dominion, maybe say Jamie Hayter pins Mercedes? She is a former women's champion. Like, does that work for you? Or
I think in some ways, yes, because then let's say Mercedes beats Willow. Now Jamie Hayter has a claim to the title because she pinned Mercedes.
Yeah, or at least she has a claim to go after the title.
Yeah, or vice versa. Let's say Mercedes pinned one of the Birds. I don't know about you, but we're all under the impression that she's going to be joined by Pam very soon. And if she is, we have a claim at the tag team titles. So I don't know. I don't want to be a nitpicker. I don't want to, I'm not trying to be a grumpy old man about this, especially because I enjoyed the match. But to me, this stresses me out as I'm fantasy booking as we get to All In.
Yeah, it's one of those things where, theory of opposite momentum immediately applies here.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly.
So,
and we're scientists. We're educated men of wrestling.
Like you said, you're sweating for Willow, and honestly, I felt the same way too. I went, oof. So we'll see what ends up happening.
Yeah.
Of course, a lot of comments here about Mercedes. It's saying, did the CEO not have to deal with the stupidity in WWE way too much? Why is she taking a pin in a 6-woman tag?
I really want to know. It has always been, I think, a fan of Mercedes, but he's reached Maria-like levels of.
I think.
And
she got to him, man. She got to him.
Did she infect him? And I don't know, what happened?
Oh, they hung out a lot in the chat, and she made some good points, and it just come around to her way of thinking.
I love it. I love it, but it feels very like somebody got indoctored into the Death Riders. Somebody got indoctored into the Dark Order. Somebody got indoctored into Athena's school of wrestling, of minions.
Minions in training. See, JT thought Mercedes eating the pin was great. Be careful with that talk around here. But it lets him know that she's going to win at All In. Theory of opposite momentum. See, Maria saying that the CEO is looking fabulous. And I do have to say, I loved her entrance attire. I don't know if that was an homage to something or she just wore it, but she looked great. Her gear was great. I got to agree with you there. Maria also saying that Willow is done at All In, and telling James that nobody should be pinning Mercedes at all.
I will agree with you. She shouldn't have gotten pinned in this match.
Let's see. JT, Mercedes losing continues to put doubt in her mind that Willow has her number. And yeah, I agree with you, JT. I do think that is the story here.
Yeah.
So we'll see how it ends up playing out at All In. But yeah, I think I agree with you and James. Theory of opposite momentum. Willow's tough.
Yep.
So it's saying we're probably right picking the CEO winning and taking back the title. He's feeling better now. Also making a joke that Willow has a voodoo doll. JT pointing out Mercedes 1-5 in tag matches in AEW.
It's a good way of getting big stars beaten while still being protected for more important matches. New Japan does this a lot. Like Okada ate a lot of pins, or at the very least was in on the losing side of a lot of teams during his superstardom reign in New Japan.
Yeah.
It's just something they do.
It also works too with Mercedes, where it's been very clear that she doesn't play well with others.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
So even when she can kind of put, her ego aside for a few minutes and team with Athena, they usually don't do very well. That might be the one, honestly. Yeah. But they don't usually do very well. And any other time, she usually ends up getting in some sort of beef with her tag partner because she just, at a certain point, is like, I'm better than you. Why are we losing?
Yes.
Get your shit together. So it makes a lot of sense. I actually kind of like that fact. What's saying about Willow? It's the smiling and cheering stuff for him. It's very sus.
How great would it be? We're all very much under the impression, like I said, Pam is going to be coming to AEW and joining Mercedes.
Yes. Pam is Bailey for you non-super smarts.
All right, we've been saying Pam in the chat for weeks now.
Are you saying Pam or Pan?
Panned. Pan?
Two M's?
There's a D at the end, I think. How great would it be if we get swerved and she starts teaming with Willow instead?
Hugs. Well, that just inevitably leads to her turning on Willow and then joining Mercedes.
Or just it leads to Mercedes going insane.
Poor Kano.
She just loses her mind.
Comparing Willow saying the new John Cena, I think she's Bailey. It's more Bailey, I think, as a comparison. But
Bailey was called the female John Cena in WWE.
I guess, yeah. Just in terms of being very good babyface. I get where you're going with there. All right, let's keep it rolling. Our next match of the night, in my opinion, I had that coming in. Kyle Fletcher versus Speedball, Mike Bailey 3. Revenge of the Sith for the AEW International Championship.
Fletcher just rocking a pink lightsaber.
Yeah. But I mean, dude, we had an Australian guy defending his title against a French-Canadian guy in Mexico. Can you get more international championships? So we had both men. They came out with masks on. Speedball had the mask he used to wear when he was tagging with Místico, and they won the trios titles and stuff.
Yeah.
Fletcher, I don't know which mask he had on, but when he took it off, he stomped on it and kicked it out of the ring. So
my favorite bit of logic with that is he had that mask commissioned. He paid money to have that mask just so he could then do what he did.
Hey, you know what, man? Some people, they have money and they love to spend it on being petty.
He cut off his nose to spite his face there.
I got 2 words for you. 50 Cent.
Yeah, that is a spiteful spender.
I will also mention that Fletcher was accompanied to the ring by that carny piece of shit Don Callis, who did not join commentary, which are commentary for fun fact in Mexico is in the front row. Yeah. So he would have had to hop a barricade, presumably.
Yeah, those days are over.
Yeah. He also, thankfully, no, that's not true. He hops the barricade every time John Moxley gets
that's
even
remotely. Yeah, no, that's true. Yeah, that's true.
He also, thankfully, did not interfere in this match, which I thought was great because this match did not need it.
Nope.
Because there was some great stuff in this. Early in the match, we had Fletcher catching Speedball as he went for a tope and just lawn darting him into the barricade, which is basically cement in Arena Mexico. And that thud was just brutal.
Yeah.
Later in the match, the two fought up to the stairs in the entranceway. Kyle tried to hit the brain buster there. Speedball got out of it and then just like sprinted halfway up the stairs and hit a moonsault, which I just did not understand the physics of that.
I gave up on trying to understand how these people can do such athletic things that I'll never be able to do.
Again, I said the word springboard tornillo of reverse hurricanrana earlier, or that phrase earlier in the show. I've given up on like doubting the physics-defying stuff the dudes in AEW can do, and frankly, some of the dudes in WWE too. And by dudes, I'm a dude, he's a dude, she's a dude, we're all dudes.
We're all dudes.
Getting to the end here, after both men tumbled out of the ring, Fletcher somehow hung on to Bailey. He had him in like a powerbomb position. They went through the ropes. Fletcher hung on to him and hit him with an apron powerbomb. Fletcher then rolled Bailey back into the ring, into the corner, hit him with a haluva kick and a brain buster, and Speedball kicked out.
Yep.
So then Fletcher brings Speedball up to the top for the turnbuckle brain buster. Speedball gets out of it.
Big hurricanrana.
He kicks him and then hits him with a massive reverse rana. Speedball goes back up to the top, hits the ultimate weapon, pins Fletcher, and Fletcher kicks out at 2 point, and I think I have about 25 nines written down here.
What was great about it, guys, by the way, guys, the camera angle was so clearly the winner's camera angle. It was a zoomed out shot of like him with the crowd around it. It was meant to be like that celebratory shot.
Everyone thought that was the end.
Yeah.
Dakota Excalibur 2.99 infinitum.
Yeah.
Bailey then tried to roll up Fletcher with the maneuver that he used to beat Fletcher in the C2, where he crosses the legs and everything. But Fletcher...
He didn't bridge it completely, so he didn't get the pin.
Right. So Fletcher kicked out of that. Bailey tried to follow that up with a kick, I think presumably to the head, but it was a little low, so Fletcher caught it, and he basically just picked up Bailey again by his leg and lawn darted him once again, this time into the turnbuckle. And then Fletcher quickly capitalized with another haluva kick, and he brought Bailey up to the top and hit him with the turnbuckle brainbuster and stacked him up something fierce to make sure that he retained his title. And briefly after the match, Fletcher's celebration was cut short when he was interrupted by the entrance of Kazuchika Okada, who was coming out for his match, and he decided that was when he wanted to make his entrance. And then the two passed each other on the ramp, and they stared each other down, with Fletcher lifting his title above his head until Don convinced Kyle it was time to go to the back.
Kyle could not look more annoyed if he tried.
Yes.
This
was, I said this when I heard that it was coming last week. I said it when it started tonight, and I knew it coming in. This was going to be match of the night. It was always going to be match of the night. These two guys had some absolute bangers their first two matches.
Yep,
I think the first one was my favorite because I wasn't expecting it. The second one built on it and was just as good. This one, I don't want to say the most pressure, but I guess between, anytime you have a match that good the first time, any subsequent match has pressure to be good.
Yeah.
The next one being just as good, put a lot of pressure on this one. Damn, did these boys deliver?
They absolutely did. I love this match. I love this match. I think it is an example of what makes wrestling so good. You get lost in it. I've talked about it so many times here on the pod. My favorite parts of wrestling are when I forget. It's when I forget that I'm watching something that's scripted. It's when I forget what makes sense for booking. It's just when I'm watching a match and I get lost in it. And I got lost in this matchup. It was a little messy in the beginning. I don't know if you'd agree. Like, I felt like there was a couple of, not missteps, but like maybe their pacing, they needed to match each other in the beginning of the match. But once they did, it was like off to the races. It was just nonstop, just action. It was nonstop, just thrills. I think both looked great here. I think Speedball winning a title is when, not if, right?
Yeah,
like
well,
we can
singles
agree.
title.
Yeah, singles title. Like it's a matter of when, not if. And I think that Speedball is just so. They've done a great job of, even in losses, making Speedball look important, and the crowd adores them. So I really, really, I'm sad Speedball didn't win, but it's going to make that moment that much sweeter, I think.
Yeah.
Let them win it in Canada.
That would be great. I mean, we saw how the crowd reacted at Redemption when he just won the contract to have this match. Hell, we saw the crowd tonight. You know, this is a French-Canadian person. They were obsessed with this match. They love Speedball down there. And they were obviously very respectful of Fletcher, booing them when they had to and whatever. But they were just fucking loud.
They were just a great match.
Yeah, because this match was awesome, and they really got into it and helped back it up that much more. I think they were probably loudest during this match. Maybe the Andrade one got pretty close, but
I'd say this was louder.
Yeah, considering that there were no Mexicanos in this match and it was this fucking loud, yeah, I'd say that they did pretty well.
Can I ask you a question that isn't meant to be a criticism?
You just Sorry.
Moving on. So the next match
to you in a while. Go ahead.
When I was watching it live, I thought to myself, I wasn't crazy about the finish of the match. Speedball had hit the ultimate weapon, and then obviously only got the 2 count, then went into the bridge pin, or the not bridged pin.
Right.
Got the 2 count again. And then I felt out of nowhere Fletcher was setting up for the top rope ring buster. Like, I saw the big side kick that he hit in the corner onto Speedball. Right. But I felt that the transition from almost losing to actually winning happened very quickly.
It literally turned around on a dime when Fletcher caught that kick. So I can understand where you're coming from with that. It didn't bug me that much. Maybe if like the transition was a bit more of a Speedball going for his big kick in the corner. I'm blanking on what that one is. The time adventure. Maybe if like Fletcher dodges that and then we have the thrown kick and the catch in the lawn door just to give Fletcher a little bit of time as Speedball sets up for it, because he's got to get Fletcher in the corner and then he's got to presumably go at least halfway across the ring, if not the whole way. So maybe if you gave him a few more seconds to recover, but I think you're picking a few nits there with that one.
I think so. Like I said, it was a question. It wasn't meant to be a criticism. Yeah. When I was watching it, like I was going through and I was thinking that. Wow, okay, that's the finish.
Yeah, it was quick. It was very quick.
But either way, like I still think I said it throughout. I adored this match. I think this was a great match for both of them. And I think it's just making Fletcher looking even better as we're getting closer to All In. And Fletcher, who now has 3 successful defenses of the international title. Yeah.
And would be shocked if he got one more in there and then triple threat.
We're getting close. We're getting real close.
Just waiting for the G110s.
Yep.
All right, let's see what we got here. JT said this match was ridiculous. It was. The back of your head is ridiculous. You know it. Also pointing out that Kyle spends a lot of money on glasses too. Very true. They're good-looking glasses, though. I'm sure Sky likes them. Maria thought this was great. It got fooled. He thought Speedball won and then thought he was going to win, even though Fletcher is the man. Maria said the main event was the match of the night for her. And that's fair. It was also very, very good. This was one of those things I just predetermined this was going to be match of the night because I figured it was going to be. And then I just decided to stake my claim to it, so I was right.
And they're two very different matches. Both were very athletic, but this was like an athletic showcase versus what turned into a very hardcore match for the main event.
Yeah. So I agree. Like they're both very good, just incredibly, different speeds. But that's what I love about AEW.
Yes.
JT saying that he doesn't know if Fletcher has ever had a bad match. The guy delivers every time. Agreeing with him. I can't think of one in AEW.
I can't think of one.
Maybe, early on in like New Japan when he was coming up, maybe Aussie Open had a dud or two, but
yeah.
I saw a clip the other day of it was the Elite. I think it was the finals for the original trios match.
It was Kenny and the Bucks confronting Will and Aussie Open, right?
No, it was Kenny's entrance for what I think was the finals for the inaugural trios titles, and it was the Elite, Kenny and the Bucks against United Empire, Ospreay, and Aussie Open.
Well, the finals,
or at least it was in the tournament. Then it was in the tournament.
Yeah.
Because it was Justin Roberts doing Kenny's entrance, and the entire thing was Willow's never beaten Kenny and everything. So, but Will was a lot more heel at that point.
Yeah,
it was just funny seeing them, and that's why it just popped into my head that Kyle maybe having a bad match. I was like, there's no way that was bad, and he still had hair.
I saw a clip, I think from the end of the match, where afterwards Kenny gets on the mic and just basically breaks down Will. Like, he's just running him down. And I'm seeing baby Kyle and baby Mark Davis. Davis has transformed physically. Like, he does not look like the same person from when he started.
Right.
And Fletcher, oh my God, he's gotten so much bigger. His muscle mass, it's like he went through a Frieza-like transformation.
Oh, yeah. He looks, his entirety of him looks different between the haircut and, like you said, putting on the muscle mass. Like, it feels like he's gotten faster and more athletic. Like, he was so young at that time. It makes sense that, getting older, you're able to put on a little more mass. And he's completely transformed, not just himself, but his career. Maria says that Speedball is unfortunately in the LA Knight situation. I would disagree. Now,
I would disagree.
JT followed it up with Speedball has held gold in AEW, has Knight held gold in WWE. Yes.
The U.S. Championship.
Yeah. So he's had singles gold, Knight. Speedball has not had singles gold in AEW, but he did hold the Trios Championships with Hangman and Kevin Knight. So
once or twice. The Trios title. Oh, with Místico, too.
Yeah. So he's held the titles twice, actually. So I'm going to disagree with the LA Knight situation, because LA Knight feels like he's always purposefully held down by people who are booking, whereas Speedball is always put in situations to make him shine. Even when he loses, he does get some big wins, and we all know it's a matter of time before Speedball ends up getting singles gold, whatever it may be. Whereas with Knight, we're never even sure if he's going to win the U.S. title back.
Like I said with Speedball, it's a matter of when, not if. LA Knight, it's a big ol' if.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
Yeah, it's incredibly annoying and was part of his frustration on Monday night from what I saw. But Fernando also called this match fire. He believes that Okada will take his title back at All In.
Maybe.
I don't know if he does or not, but assuming it is, that triple threat is going to slap. And if it's just Okada versus Fletcher, I'm sure that'll still be good too, but that also sounds like it'd be better for All Out. All right, following that, speaking of Místico, we had him teaming up with Darby Allin, and Jericho brought back Corazon de Leon. Because
why not? Jinx.
We're running back the hits. But between Jericho coming out to Judas, we had Místico getting his extended entrance for Mi Muerto. Between those two and Cope getting his full entrance earlier, I think we figured out why Tony Khan needed the extra half hour.
Yeah. Not mad.
Nope, me neither. Worth it for all three. As for Darby, he got his entrance cut short because Kevin Knight dove over the ropes at him while he was coming down on his skateboard.
He's making that a thing for him.
Yeah,
Knight is making that a thing.
Yeah, well, you know why? Darby did it to him too. And if they're gonna set the ramp up where it's even with the the ring, go for it, kid. Yeah. It looks awesome.
Yeah, why
not? So that kind of kicked off a brawl to start the match. A brawl that unfortunately ended for Darby Allin when Knight took him and threw him square onto the barricade, and Darby landed on his on his huevos. Weirdly enough, though, Darby recovered pretty quickly and was able to get a tag in the match a lot sooner than I expected.
Yeah.
But that's where things went from bad to worse for Darby, because after the tag, he tried to hit Knight with a tope suicida, and as he was coming through the ropes, he got picked out of the air by Okada, who hit a picture-perfect dropkick on him. And Darby just went kersplat as we headed into commercial.
Excellent use of sound effects there.
It was awesome. That was one of the few audible ohs that got out of me. Like I feel like it's taken a lot nowadays to get that reaction from me, just because we see some crazy shit in AEW. If I audibly react to something, it was pretty cool, and that was just awesome.
My general rule of thumb is I'm going to react if I think that would hurt me. And
then you just be reacting to every step they take.
And I typically do. I'm always hurting.
Yeah, me too. It's going to rain. My knee's killing me.
Yeah.
All right. So jump towards the end here. We had Jericho, Darby, and Místico all take everybody with dives to the outside, various dives. So then Darby got Knight back into the ring, and he went up top, presumably to hit the coffin drop. Knight was able to recover, and he knocked Darby down on the top turnbuckle, and then hung Darby in the Tree of Woe before heading over to the other corner to hit the coast to coast. Knight climbs up, he starts to jump across, and he gets picked out of the air. But this time it was by Chris Jericho hitting him with a Judas effect about halfway across the ring.
I thought that was like spot of the match.
Yeah, it was pretty damn good.
Yeah.
Okada then came in and he tried to hit Jericho with a dropkick, but Jericho was able to sidestep him and got Okada into the walls of Jericho. Hechicero then came in and tried to break that up. Side note, Hechicero, huge pops in this match. I did mention it was Okada, Knight, and Hechicero for the Don Callis family. Anyway, Hechicero comes in. He tries to break that up, but Místico comes in and gets him with the Tierras and then goes into La Mística. So those two guys are down. Knight's dead in the corner. Darby then sits up, gets himself out of the Tree of Woe, gets himself up to the top, and then hits the coffin drop and pins Knight for the win. So, Jim, very fun match here. It was a little, I don't want to call it nostalgia bait with Jericho, but you basically just kind of...
But it was.
Yeah, you kind of hodgepodge together three baby faces to pick up a dub, which worked out. I liked it. I liked seeing Místico. It was kind of weird hearing him get
Místico, that there wasn't a lot there that was going to make sense.
Yeah, but exhibition, I think, is the word I'm looking for.
Yes, and I think you nailed it. And I'm okay with it, personally. The way this was booked was former world champions. That's what the challenge was laid out to, and that's what we got. Former world champions with Místico, with Jericho, and thankfully Darby. For a middle-of-the-show match, I think they did great. It had some really fun spots. Like I said, I think Jericho hitting that Judas effect on Knight as he was doing the coast-to-coast, incredible spot.
Yeah.
Great, fun spot.
Good timing. And shout out Knight taking that incredibly close to the ropes.
Yeah.
Like, that's not easy falling safely there.
No. So I give them all credit. I love it's become a little bit of a trope, but I love matches that end where there are multiple submissions going on for the teammates, and then whatever the finish is the finish, which is what we got here with Darby hitting the coffin drop. I'm a little nervous that it seems, as our comments were saying, that Darby's probably going to go after Knight again for the TNT title at Allin. It's not really what I want to see. But I do think it is better than the alternative that I am terrified that Jericho is going to go after Knight. Because he loves going after the young, hot talent.
Maybe after Knight loses the title, I don't know if he would want to get involved in the TNT championship. And I don't know if Tony wants him anywhere near it. So
I agree. I agree all of that. We've been down the road too many times to not be nervous.
Yeah. Also, then we're doing Jericho and DCF again.
Yeah.
I don't know if we want to do that another time. So
I mean, I think they've shown that they could do DCF adjacent feuds. Like Kenny feuded with Knight and really did not have a lot to do with the Don Callis family. Thankfully, they were able to do ways of getting of just sidestepping it. I think you could do the same with Jericho because Knight's whole thing is I don't need help. I can win on my own. And he lost the one with Kenny, against Kenny.
Well, Don called him on that last week. He said, he was like, look, kid, you went out there, you did great, but I think we've learned a lesson here that, sometimes you need help from the family. Yeah. So I don't see Don letting him go, not rogue again, but letting him go out on his own again and attempting to, take down big game.
Yeah, but I do think it proved that there are ways of sidestepping an extended feud with the family.
Right. I would just want another one. A different reason if they're going to do it that way.
No, that's fair. That's fair. But yeah, fun matchup, and Okada's just a star.
It's Okada.
Yeah, it's Okada. Yeah, not much more to say on the match.
Yeah, I think the only other thing with Knight that I would say is I was kind of expecting Hangman to end up facing him after Hangman's promo the other day, but we saw what happened with him tonight, so that might be going in a different direction. With the trios, they haven't been afraid to put another title on somebody with the trios championship.
But I will also say I don't think this trios reign is going to last that long. Yeah.
But we'll talk about that.
Yeah, we'll get to that
when we get to it in a few, because I already saw a couple comments trickle in about it. So we'll get to that in a bit. JT saying, if I'm Knight, I would be scared to think what Darby's going to do to me at Allin. I would be scared to think of what Darby was going to do to me at any time. Yeah. He's crazy.
Yep. At his own wedding, he got body slammed onto thumbtacks by his mother. The man's insane. Very quickly, the comment above that, will WWE... I don't think so. I think they already did it with Sami Zayn.
Yeah. I would agree. Yeah.
I don't think he's going to get. I don't think Knight's going to win.
Unless they're just going to do it to shut everyone up. Like, hey, look, Knight got his title and he immediately loses it back. But it's going to make it worse, guys. It's going to make it worse. Let's see. It's saying, hear me out, please. What if Will Ospreay loses at Wembley? It would be the most English thing that could happen in the country's complete history is losing in complete spots. It would be the most English thing.
And they acknowledged
in Wembley.
Ospreay acknowledged it in a promo. He's like, yeah, England loses the big one, but not me when I'm there.
Yeah, no, it was the one with Kenny after he almost knocked Kenny out with the hidden blade. He was like, the boys just not let us down. But he's like, the boys didn't win in the World Cup. Well, now I'm up, It's like we're in PKs and it's my turn to kick and I want the ball. So, yeah, nobody would see it coming, but bro, like this is all it just that seems very Vince Russo. Like, let's just swerve them to swerve them.
I don't think so. I promise this isn't Kenny Omega bias on my end. I do think there is a story to tell if Will loses, but I don't think that story is worth not having the moment of Will winning at Wembley.
Right. And the follow-up too, like it just Will having the world title is a great story because especially because we just haven't seen it. When we haven't seen it before.
Yeah. I will be rooting for Kenny Omega, but I'm not going to be upset that Will Ospreay wins.
Right.
Because he should win.
Exactly. It's kind of how I felt with Tekla versus Willow. It's like kind of want Tekla to win here, but I'm not rooting against Willow. Like
Let's not compare Kenny to Tekla. Kenny did nothing wrong.
I know.
Nothing wrong.
I just meant in terms of like short-term rooting interests, but
no, I know.
All right. After that, we had our next women's match, which saw Persephone face off against Statlander. Now, this all stems from that TBS Championship Survival of the Fittest match we had a few weeks ago, where Statlander eliminated Persephone, and then Persephone helped out Sheeta, and Sheeta ended up winning the title. Then last week, Persephone was facing Maya World, and Statlander came in and prevented Maya from using the kendo stick that Sheeta had passed her onto Maya, and Maya was able to retain. So we end up with this match. And it was a good match. Two powerhouse women, strength on strength, but still very athletic and do a lot of flippy shit. But we also had Thunder Rosa at ringside. And Thunder Rosa is apparently the Mexican national champion. Now, I don't know.
When did this happen?
I guess that's a CMLL title. CMLL has a lot of titles, in case you didn't notice. If you thought AEW had a lot.
Any lucha company is going to have more.
Yes. More. Especially because they have, on the men's side at least, they have one for like every weight class, and there's like 6 weight classes.
Yeah.
So she's seated at ringside with her title. And Persephone taunted Thunder throughout certain points of the match. And eventually she went over there and tried to take Thunder's Mexican National Championship, the title, the physical title. The referee decided that he was going to get in there and break this up, as Thunder had come over the barricade and they were tug-of-warring the title, and he just tried to get in between them and he pushed them apart. Persephone is the one who ends up with the title, so she blows past the ref and hits Thunder in the head with it. Now, all of this distraction allowed Statlander in the ring to recover. Now, Stat, I believe, had just missed a 450 splash and landed fairly gnarly. Like, she landed on her knees instead of, like, just flat. So she was able to recover. She came out onto the apron, and she hit Persephone with a cannonball. However, Persephone was right in front of the referee, so as Statlander took out Persephone, she took out the ref as well. So Stat gets Persephone into the ring. She tries to hit Saturday Night Fever, but Persephone counters that, and then the two go back and forth, trading pinning predicaments until Stat finally gets the upper hand, and she's got Persephone dead to rights. But there's no ref. So we're at like 6 count now, and then Ricardo Sheeta comes out, and she had run over, picked up the national championship next to Thunder Rosa's lifeless body.
Comically slow.
Yep, came into the ring, and she
struggled getting in the ring. Struggled rolling.
I don't know what it was. She just missed. It happens. Sure,
I'm not holding it against her. Yeah, I'm not holding it against her, but it was hilariously slow.
I'm sure we'll see it on Botchamania. You think that was hilariously so? Persephone, after Stat gets hit with the title,
this whole thing
then hits a springboard fog splash, and eventually, after what felt like forever, the referee comes in and slow counts the 3, and Persephone gets the dub. And then after the match, High and My World came out to check on Stat and drive Persephone and Cheat off before they can do any more damage. So, James, I kind of like this match. It weirdly didn't have as much heat as I thought it should, especially with Persephone in the ring. But other than that, I thought it was very well wrestled up until all that stuff. And in the end, just kind of took all the piss out of it. Like, Cheetah was a little slow, as much as I hate to admit that. And then, I don't know, the ref misses Q. Like, Persephone was in that pin for at least 8 seconds. So, I don't know.
You got to remember, he was hurt.
But
he was on the outside hurt.
Usually they get in there with maybe just 2 extra seconds on the pin. Dude took a minute and a half.
I agree. That was nuts. The match was very good. As for the lack of I guess heat or crowd participation, it's an awkward spot for them to be in, because naturally they're gonna want to root for Persephone, but she is a heel.
Yeah.
So it's like you're booing your own player here. It's a rough spot to be in for the crowd.
Yeah, I was curious, like, how they were going to come out. Like, Stat came out, and she didn't, like, act heel, as she's had the little more abrasive persona lately. But I feel, maybe it was just the music. I didn't think she got the biggest crowd reaction. And then Persephone came out, and I was like, oh, they're just going to cheer her, and Stat's going to be healed in this match, and it's just going to be a little Bizarre World Maggle. And then they didn't really boo her either, and it just kind of led to them not really knowing what to do, I guess.
Yeah, that's really what it felt like. And I think Stat's okay because she knows how, like, she can work heel. She's done it before.
Yeah.
And I think she's used to just not getting cheers, which sounds shitty, but you know what I mean. Like, being the heel, you're used to not getting the support. Yeah, I don't know. I still enjoyed the match. It's weird how athletic Stat is, considering she is basically a powerhouse wrestler.
Right.
But she is so, like, there was that sequence where they were fighting on the apron, and then she goes for that big leg drop but misses. It's like she got air on that, you know? I enjoyed the match. The finish was a little clunky. I appreciate what they were going for, though.
Yeah, it made sense. It just wasn't well executed.
Yeah. I know right now there's a lot about frustration regarding, apparently, it feels very manufactured, but there's some frustration about how Persephone is being booked in AEW. I don't know if you've seen this online over the last few days.
Yeah, I've seen people complaining.
But she wins a good deal for somebody who's not using AEW as their home company. Yeah, she has a contract with AEW. She is all elite, but her home company is CMLL. So I think she's booked pretty darn well for somebody who's going to be spending not the majority of their time in AEW.
Yeah.
I do think, and I've been saying this, I think Shida probably needs to be transitioned into the tag title scene for a good amount of time. I wouldn't mind if Persephone was her tag team partner.
Same. It seems to be they're maybe not leaning that way, but at minimum, it looks like we're going to get some sort of tag match between the two of them, Stat and somebody else.
Probably Maya World, probably
Maya or Hayter, or maybe it's a trios match, and they Stat and Persephone recruit a third person. But yeah, it seems like we're gonna get there.
And there's the Thunder Rosa of it all too.
Oh yeah. Now there's Thunder. So sorry, Hayter.
But it's fucked. That's true. Yeah. So I like coming out of this. I liked what this was. Always feel bad for Stat. I feel like Stat loses way more than she should.
Yeah.
But she's kind of Teflon that, like, she always bounces back. She's always able to absorb it and not take too much damage. Yeah, fun match.
Yeah, I liked it a lot, you know. I just wish the ending was a little more well executed.
Yes.
JT was saying that Persephone was the hometown favorite. Yeah, I mean, you wouldn't know it, but just I don't know,
she was certainly the hometown competitor.
Yeah. Thunder got cheered well, though. You know what, joking about the ref, maybe he's from California and was taking his 15-minute break. It's state law. Yeah. Also, we had Maria saying that Ospreay losing at Wembley is a bad idea, and I would agree with that.
Yeah. You know what? I'm ignoring you. On both of those comments, I'm ignoring you.
JC saying Stat is good, but she doesn't connect like she should. She did for a very long time.
Her women's title reign, and I'd say the same for her TBS title reign, were booked so lacklusterly.
Yeah.
That it's like, I'm not saying this is fact. It's just how it appears to me. It feels like Tony does not know how to book her, but knows that he has to book her.
That kind of makes sense.
Yeah, it's like she's too popular for him to ignore, but he just does not have a grasp of what he should do with her.
Yeah, maybe she needs a tag partner, but like she's literally just been doing this whole gimmick where she's like, I'm on my own, you know, like I don't want to be a tag partner. Like Willow, like good for you, go do your thing. I'm not doing that right now. Sorry, Harley, I'm not tagging with you again. Like,
the biggest mistake. The biggest mistake was not having Willow and Stat be the inaugural tag champs. Like, we can agree on, like, I am so happy for Harley. She deserves to have held the championship in AEW. From a story standpoint, it made no sense that they did not win the tag titles together.
Yeah.
These two former friends who were on the outs forever, they become friends again. Oh, but it has nothing to do with the tag titles. It felt dumb. But either way, I don't want to be ripping them apart right now, but I feel for Stat.
So do I. She's, like I said, she's too good and she's too popular to be this like oddly booked. But
yeah,
but maybe, like I said, maybe Tony just doesn't know how to do it. Maria thought that was a good assessment. Meanwhile, it is upset with your censorship.
What did I censor? Oh, his comments.
Yeah. My chat rights are being violated. Your First Amendment chat rights.
Rev can easily pull your comments up.
I'm not even entirely sure which ones.
The Don Callis Kenny one, which
thank you. I would just Don helps Kenny win. Mox says I told you so in England. Well, England loses, I think, in that situation. Canada prevails.
And the Britt Baker being the mystery tag partner for the win.
Oh yeah, that one I just didn't understand. I was like, I wasn't entirely sure what he was referencing. Maria thinks that Ty J should have been the first women's tag champ.
All right, the way I would have booked it,
there was a time.
Yeah, there was a time. The way I would have booked it, and this is in the scenario that Ty Conti doesn't leave AEW. Oh man, Rev is frozen on my screen for a second. Was I frozen for you?
No, you're good.
Okay. Willow and Stat win the inaugural tag titles. They drop it to Divine Dominion. But Divine Dominion at that point was Megan Bayne and Penelope Ford.
Yeah, I was gonna say, they weren't even a thing yet. That wasn't they weren't even called Divine Dominion. It was just, it was I don't even remember. Mega Bad.
Yeah. My way of saying Megan Bayne plus tag team partner. Then Ty and Anna take the tag titles off of Penelope and Megan. And then the Sisters of Sin take the tag titles off of Anna and Ty. And then you have the Brawling Birds take the titles off of the Sisters of Sin. That was, I think, the nice, clean way of booking the tag team division. But alas, that's not what we went for.
Yeah, people got hurt, people got signed, and here we are.
And some people just weren't booked to be a tag team.
Very true. All right, following that up, we had our AEW World Trios Championship match between the Band and the Good, the Bad, and the Ugly.
Who's the Ugly? It was a question. Somebody brought it. They asked it themselves.
Brody asked it.
I didn't want to point out anybody in particular.
Well, no, all I said was Brody asked the question. I didn't say what the answer was. Obviously, though, that is Hangman Adam Cage and Brodido members Brody King and Bandido.
You said Hangman Adam Cage.
No, I said Page. You just misheard.
No, I will bet you anything right now.
Okay, maybe it sounded like I said Cage, but I didn't. I said Page. Okay, anyway, we're also apparently calling them Hungdido. I don't know. Nigel called them that at the end of the match. So
love it.
They came out to an awesome entrance. Sombreros, ponchos, mariachi band, and Kemalito. The one, Vinny. As James, I believe, is taking a phone call. They also brought the lower thirds back for Hangman.
I was proving that you said Adam Cage, but it's fine.
Anyway, the lower thirds are back for Hangman. I believe he had it when he came back a few weeks ago, and it had just had a fixectomy. This week we got worried the sombreros may be problematic. Don't think it matters. The Mexican crowd loves Hangman. They love Brodido. We're fine. I'm going to jump to the end here, and we begin. The beginning of the end was Liona hitting a Samoan drop to all three of these men at the same time. Now, we've seen him do this before. It was I believe it was Double or Nothing, but he hit it on like the Bucks and somebody else who was fairly late. Yeah. This is Hangman, who is just, probably, 280 of all-American muscle. Bandido, who is probably 250 of all Mexican muscle. And Brody King, who is just fucking ginormous.
That he is.
Liona is one of the strongest dudes on the planet. That's actually a fact. He has like a big time
Like,
like weightlifting record somewhere.
I thought to myself it would have been an accomplishment to just pick up Brody.
Yeah.
And then he did the other two, and he made me hate myself.
he is. This is a bold statement. He is borderline Mark Henry strong. Like
It feels
nuts.
that way. He walked him too. It wasn't just that he picked him up.
Yeah.
He walked to the middle of the ring.
Yeah, and I understand like they kind of I don't know like they got to do it like where he picked up one of them and then the other two were up on the ropes and Bishop Khan was helping drape them on top. But like I get that you can't just pick 3 people up. So
But that's more of like a logistic like you only have so many hands kind of thing.
Exactly.
The fact that of picking up the weight.
Yeah, the fact that you're not only able to have that weight on you, but then carry them into the middle of the ring and hit a Samoan drop on all of them is just banana lands.
It's nuts how somehow AEW has been able to pick up one of the most impressive Samoans, considering the landscape of WWE.
I guess he's just not from that family.
But I mean, thank God. Thank God.
Speaking of big Pacific Islanders, Jeff Cobb is back. So, with Hangman and Brody down, the demand then go after Bandido. He was able to avoid Kaun and Ricochet flipping him out of the ring, and then Liona comes charging in. And Bandido is just like, nope, and he just sits down in the corner, and Liona jumps and misses everything and goes headfirst off the ring post.
It is so funny.
Because we've already established that Liona has an incredibly strong head because kayfabe, and the only way to damage it is for have him to bank off the metal ring post.
I really do appreciate that it is a like universal thing in wrestling. It's not just a WWE thing or anywhere. It's in wrestling, Samoans have near adamantium like skulls.
Yes. It's still one of my favorite things I've ever seen in wrestling is Paige had like just gotten called up to the main roster. I think she was having a match against, I want to say Tamina, and headbutted her and just fell on her ass. It was like her 3rd match on main roster. And I was like, damn, this girl knows kayfabe. And I didn't really know Paige's background at the time. And I figured once I found out, I was like, oh, that makes a lot of sense. Anyway, with Liona staggered, Brody had recovered. He came back in and hits the ropes and comes back and just absolutely hits Liona with a massive lariat. And then he goes back off the ropes and takes out Ricochet and Kaun with a tope suicida. The lariat left Liona in position for the 21 plex. So Bandido goes over, does the flip, comes off, tries to do the suplex, not happening. Leona's holding on to the ropes. Bandido cannot get him off the ropes. So Hangman comes up onto the apron and he kicks Liona in the head. And it's all right, good, he's off the ropes. But Bandido is not lifting this dude. He's just, whether he's still conscious enough to prevent it or Bandido just can't lift him, which is saying something because Bandido is crazy fucking strong as well. He cannot complete the suplex. So Hangman kind of looks around. It's like, oh, I'm on the apron. And then he flips over and hits Liona with a buckshot. And that gives Bandido the momentum to complete the suplex. And then he pins Liona, and we have new trios champions. Okay, so a lot of stuff here. First of all,
yes.
I like this match a lot. It was
I
very
did too.
good.
It was fun.
The crowd was very into it. I don't know if we got a fuck ice chant. I think we did. But it was just an overall fun match. You have that whole aspect of it, right? That's A. B, we just used the demands. I want to say their first trios championship reign, right?
Yeah. As
transitional champs. They got one defensive.
That was a bummer for me.
And then C, and I know it got mentioned in a couple of comments before, Hangman is trios champ again with dudes that I think he's tagged with before, but not consistently.
Yeah.
And this now means what for him? So 3 options there, James. Take your pick.
Okay. For Hangman winning the title with people that he isn't really like super attached to, I think it does wonders for everybody involved. Like when he won the trios with Jet Speed, it gave them their first titles in AEW.
Yeah.
which is a big deal. He obviously is giving them a rub because he's Hangman Adam Page. He's the main character of AEW.
What was their tag name again? Was it just straight up Horsecock?
No, it was. Fuck, I forgot about Horsecock. Because we chanted that at events. I know I chanted that at an event.
Yes.
But all that said, same thing here. It's not like Brodido necessarily needs a rub. They're former AEW tag team champions together. But Bandido is the Ring of Honor champion for whatever that means in wrestling. But he's given them a little jolt. He just gave them a little jolt. He made it clear he's going for championships. He cannot go for the world championship. But that's not going to stop him from going after gold in general.
They'll collect tour.
They'll collect tour. So whether that means this is just a transitional reign on the journey of him winning several new championships, we'll see. I don't think they're going to have these belts long. Arguably, I think if anybody's going to take it off them, it should be the Demand again. I think the Demand should take the titles back because they are too good a unit to not be doing something. And I understand not putting the tag team championships on the Gates of Agony. I understand that. But as a trio, they are consistently entertaining. They are consistently putting on good matches. Take advantage of that. I just saw It's comment.
All about SmackDown.
Yeah.
It's a good one.
So I would put the titles back on them. So I think I addressed two of your points. What was the third? What was the first one?
Just how good the match was.
Oh yeah, the match was great. I had so much. Hangman knows how to wrestle matches that get the crowd going. And admittedly, so do Brodido. Their movesets are designed to get the crowd excited.
Yeah. And these are three dudes who were apparently beloved down in Mexico. So
yeah. I think this was just such a fun matchup. We got the 4-man Macarena at the end. What more could you ask for? And I did just love the finish. I love the buckshot with the 21 plex. I thought that was a nice.
If they could properly time that out, buddy.
Oh my god, yeah. So just well done. I agree with Fernando's comment. We'll get to it in a second. And I'm hoping the Demand get the titles back. I hope they do it in a way that doesn't bury Brodido. I don't want Hangman to not take pins.
Yeah.
But we'll see. And I don't think Hangman's going to win the tag titles anytime soon. I think the trios is probably the best thing that he could do. I think there's too much baggage for him to win a title with one other person.
Yeah, because you want it to be Kenny.
No, I'm not. I mean, yes, but no, I'm just saying in general, I don't think it sounds weird to say, but there is an intimacy to winning the tag team titles because you're doing it with one other person. It's you and that other person, as opposed to a trios. He's coming in and turning a couple into a throuple. He did it with Jet Speed. He's doing it with Brody. Did I throw you off there?
No, I just did the little, Eugene Levy eyebrow raise. I thought I threw you off with it.
You did a little, in a good way. But yeah, it's easier for him to come into established relationships, be part of it, than form a relationship.
Yeah.
So we'll see. I don't know what the next belt is for him. Logic would be the TNT title because of Knight, but I think Darby winning it is inevitable.
Yeah, because I think I mentioned earlier, I thought it was the TNT, and that was my third part of my question. It wasn't that he won it with people that he barely teamed with before. It was more of, I think I kind of thought Hangman was going to be on one trajectory, and we've put him on this one. And that's fine. I like it. To JT's point, it keeps him busy for the moment. I'm sure they'll have some banger matches in the meantime. So it's just something I wasn't expecting. But looking back on it, I guess I kind of should have, because you're not going to have this big show and not have a title change. Yeah. And there was only 2 being defended tonight between this and the International. So this is the one that makes sense.
I also think it's a great way, and we're now speaking as a smart thinking behind the scenes. It's a good way of ensuring that Hangman and Brodido are on the card at All In because they're going to have championships on their shoulders. So I think that's the main reason they did this.
Yeah, it's probably another reason too. Maybe we get a ladder match, for it.
It's possible.
It doesn't seem like we're getting, our CLT. So,
which is nuts.
Yeah, just considering who's around, but maybe we end up getting that. I don't know what's going to end up happening. But look, if you're going to slingshot title, this is a good one or these are good ones to do it with.
It's clearly Tony's done it many times. He did it with the dogs. The dogs held the belts for a day.
Yeah.
A day.
Yeah, he's done it with the dogs. Like, not that there was a slingshot, but he had to make a very quick move when Hangman won the titles with jet speed. Because Powerhouse Hobbs was leaving, and he had to make a quick decision and decided that was the way to go. Yeah. So these titles, while having some prestige, they're not the top, the top of the line titles in AEW. So I don't mind the move here. Yeah. I think the biggest thing that I do mind is they did the demand kind of dirty.
Yeah.
So I do think I agree with you that the demand should be the ones to win them back.
Yeah.
We're going to win them off of this team. And then to Fernando's point, and I think you were mentioning this earlier, I see the Rascals eventually beating the demand for them to start lifting those guys up.
Yeah, I could too. I think an ideal scenario, and it's going to sound bizarre, I would have the demand win the titles back at All In. Because I don't think you need them. I think obviously you need Hangman and Brodido on the card. I don't think you need them to win. It's more important that they're wrestling it All In than winning it All In. Right. And Hangman losing at the All In the year after beating Jon Moxley for the world title at All In, I think there's a story there too.
That's why I threw out ladder match, and it doesn't necessarily have to be, straight up team on team. You could throw a third or fourth team in there. Yeah. And I think that kind of helps protect Hangman and Brodido because you prevent any of those guys from taking a pin on a big stage.
Yeah, for sure.
So that just makes sense to me. And it'd be cool, have a ladder match. It'd be fun. Speaking of cool, it's saying that ponchos are always cool. Well, they usually keep you warm, but they look cool.
They keep you dry more than anything.
Yeah, well, it depends on the poncho. Those cloth ponchos in Mexico, they are not keeping you dry. They absorb so much water. Yeah. JT saying last week that they had to get a title onto Brody somehow.
Glad they did.
Yeah, man. Brody deserves it. He's awesome. What else did you notice that was funny? Oh, yes. He said the Hangman needs to go for the AEW Championship title. He can't think of any reason why he shouldn't work that.
I mean, there is no reason on paper that he can't.
Yep. JT saying that he thinks Hangman should be allowed to enter a tournament to get a title shot. He is technically not calling out the champion.
That is the beauty of this situation. There are many ways that we could get around the stipulation. The champion challenges Hangman. Hangman is somehow wins his way into it and doesn't challenge it the traditional way. Hangman says, fuck it. I didn't sign shit, bro.
Yeah,
I'm going for the title.
It's just his word as far as we know. So, and they made a pretty big deal of that when it happened.
Yeah. Yeah. So I think that this isn't Cody. Hangman will go for the world title again. Eventually. It's what I said about Kenny. The entire 1,400 days that Kenny wasn't champion, people were saying, why isn't Kenny Omega going for the AEW World Championship? And there were a lot of reasons. They didn't want Kenny going for the title. He was doing other things. He was mid-card champion. He was tag team, trio champion, whatever it was. There were a lot of reasons he wasn't going for the world title, but it didn't stop fans from asking. In this scenario, they probably wanted to take a break from Hangman being in the world title scene. And this is a way of saying, well, this is the reason he's not going for the world title every month, guys.
Right.
So, works for everybody.
Yeah, it'll work for now. And then, like you said, they'll wrestling their way out of it, and it'll be fine.
Yes. And it will be glorious.
Yeah. That's Bobby Roode. Let's hit our main events, finally. Will Ospreay versus Mark Davis in a Mexico City street fight with no outside interference.
Oh,
now,
boy, this was...
Considering this was a street fight, I don't know why there still couldn't have been outside interference. There's no DQ, but...
I think the idea is those who interfere will be punished.
Oh, yeah, usually I guess that's what it is.
Like, you interfere in the match, you're getting fined or suspended or something like that.
Yeah, or that's the only way you can actually get DQ.
Yeah. Yeah, that's another one. Yeah.
But I don't know. They never established those things. We just get blood and apparently tires because Ospreay found one at the start of the match.
He was mesmerized by it. He was so confused and so
was I. It's why I brought it up.
it.
I don't think I've ever seen a tire used in a match.
I don't know. I'm
Not
sure
like
I have,
this.
but I don't know.
Yeah, I can't think of one. Maybe like one of those like big like monster truck looking tires. Or like something that goes on like a backhoe. I feel like maybe because we've seen them around when like Mark Henry's flipping them. Second Mark Henry reference of the show. But I don't think I've ever seen them used in a match. Like Ospreay ended up taking a bump on this. So the first time I'd ever seen it. It was pretty awesome.
Bitch.
Davis, on the other hand, was very fond of throwing things throughout this match. Early, he threw a chair at Ospreay. He also threw a trash can at him. And then he actually threw Ospreay into a fan. That's how we got to our commercial break.
Yeah.
Coming out of commercial, Ospreay got busted open when Davis threw him headfirst into a chair he had wedged in between the turnbuckles at the start of the match, and then proceeded to fuck up Ospreay's head even further when he produced a fork and repeatedly stabbed him. But it was okay because after he hit an Oz cutter, where Ospreay somehow jumped off a chair and then springboarded.
Commentary could not fathom how he did this.
Because it was just in his way, and he just didn't realize when he ready to run, he was like, oh, fuck, a chair. And he just like leapt off it. Like, I don't know. It was crazy. But he hit the Oz cutter, and then Ospreay got the fork and then stabbed Davis a lot. And Davis ended up being busted open as well. A little bit later, we had Davis hit it was right after that. Davis hit a leaping, I think it was a pile driver through those two chairs.
Yeah, it was. Yes.
It was nuts. Ospreay somehow kicked out of it, like at the last second. So I couldn't believe that. A little bit after that, the two were battling out on the apron when Davis grabbed some barbed wire. Now, this had been around a chair, and then they had taken it off the chair. So Davis took the loose barbed wire and raked it across Ospreay's back as the two were battling. And then Davis then tried to hit Ospreay with the pile driver on the apron, which is how he won their first match, I believe, when Ospreay, they had to stop it because Ospreay got hurt.
I cannot stress it enough that these men in real life actually really like each other and really care about each other.
But between the cage match with Fletcher and now this.
Oh, man. Can you imagine if they didn't like each other?
Yeah. However, Ospreay was able to counter out of said pile driver. And when he got back onto his feet, he decided the only thing he could do was just grab Davis's huevos and twist.
When I tell you the full body, like, cringe, the full body, like, recoil, because he grabbed on.
Yeah, you can tell these guys are friends.
All he didn't do was ask him to cough.
It was very fat bastard. Do you know what my favorite Helen Hunt movie is? Twister. Like,
what made it better is that both men were just covered in blood. Ospreay having blood in his teeth.
Yep.
And it's while holding this man's grapefruits.
Yeah. Just, not great. So then, using the stunnedness of Davis, Ospreay hit him with a pile driver on the apron, and Davis rolled out to the outside. There was then a 10 count, and I assumed it was for him to get up. I was very confused for a second.
Yeah,
I
was confused too.
Answer the standing 10 count. He barely beat it, mostly because the referee kind of woke him up. Yeah, he was like, "Are you out? You out?" And Davis was like, "Nope," and he jumped back into the ring, and immediately was met with a hidden blade. But Davis was able to kick out of that.
I'm so glad that wasn't the finish.
Yeah, because Davis then, after a little back and forth, hit what I continually call the slam dunk pile driver. Ospreay kicks out of that. Davis then grabs the barbed wire, wraps it around his arm, and goes for that bounce back lariat. But Ospreay catches him coming out of it and hits him with a Styles Clash. David kicks out of that. With Davis on the ground, Ospreay mounts him and just starts laying in those vicious ground and pound elbows we saw him practicing a few weeks ago with the Death Riders, before wrapping Davis's head in the barbed wire and hitting the hidden blade. And that finally keeps Davis down for the 3 and the dub. Gory match here.
Yes.
No, I don't even want to say gory because like they didn't do anything like that gory. It just ended up the fork cut their heads open.
Right.
Something.
He literally grinded barbed wire onto Ospreay's back. And in any other situation in life, that is gory. If I took barbed wire to your back and just went like that, that's gory as shit.
Yeah, but this is AEW. This is light work. We've seen the women do worse shit than that.
Okay, so we have officially reached sicko level here, guys, at the top.
Do I need to go get my sicko shirt?
I guess I just needed the reminder. I think this match was great. And it's like I said earlier, because we talked about which was the best match of the night. Was it this? Was it Fletcher versus Speedball? They were both very athletic bouts, but this was obviously the hardcore spectacle match versus the athletic spectacle match.
Even though I was gonna say they still did some crazy shit like that pile driver through the chairs. Was the guy jumped high enough to land ass first through 2 chairs and then and break them with a guy between his legs. Like that's insane.
Did Davis hit an awful waffle?
Yeah, that's what I keep calling like that slam dunk pile driver he does.
Like he kind of like did the whole turn and like.
Yeah, because he also basically picks dudes up by the legs and throws them in the air and then catches them, which is why I'm calling it slam dunk. And because he's Dunkzilla.
Yeah, no, I get it.
Patent pending. Just take it, Davis. Just credit me once or twice. And
you gotta blue sky him or tweet him or something.
But I guess it was an awful waffle. Either way, like the one he hit on the chairs, though, I don't think was. It was just
I don't think that
leaping pile driver again to the point where he had to jump, get his legs out, and clear the seats of 2 chairs with a dude between his legs in order to hit that. That is some freaky athleticism for a guy that size.
I'm so glad that he's in the position he's in.
Yeah.
Like, I vividly remember discussing with you, like, when he was hurt and Fletcher was on the rise. It's like, oh, God, where does this guy come back to? Mm-hmm. And then he did come back, and we're like, oh, man, he's just there. It's a bummer.
Well, yeah, he joined. Well, it was a very weird position when he came back because, remember, he was
the reluctant heel turn. Yeah,
the reluctant member of the Don Callis family. And he was looking good, and he was starting to get momentum, and he got hurt again. It's this second return where he's really found his stride. And part of that, unfortunately, is because Kyle got hurt, I think, and they needed guys to fill in. And Davis was just like, well, I'll be your Australian guy. And he went out, put on some bangers, lost the first few, but he showed he was willing to work with Tony, and he showed that put on bangers, and Tony was like, all right, done. Fletcher's back. You guys are getting trios titles with Okada for a little bit, another slingshot scenario. But you know what, though? You did such a good job with that, and I'm going to have you go maybe 500 for the next few, but you're going to get yourself a national title shot, and you're going to get that title, and you're going to have some bangers there. Like, he rewarded Davis, and now Davis not only is a legitimate threat, but has this great character as well.
We've talked about it a few times, and it's been acknowledged by the wrestlers in AEW. The moment Tony feels he can trust you, he's going to run with you.
Yep.
Like Swerve talked about it. He's like, I felt that, I had a good enough relationship with Tony, but then when I stepped up for the match against Tanahashi, that's when he started to realize he could trust me and give me the ball and allow me to run with it. So I think that's very true here. I think you nailed it with Davis, that it's like Davis stepped up when Tony needed it, and Tony appreciated it and acknowledged it.
Yeah, and he does that with a lot of dudes. Like, I don't know if he's necessarily stepped up into a situation like that, but you could see the trust he has, and we talked about him earlier, Speedball.
Yep.
You know, Speedball is always in a prominent position. Does he win every time? No, not necessarily. But we said, you know, it's when, not if, he gets rewarded with a title, and he does get some very big wins. Guy had a great C2 last year.
Yeah.
So, and hell, even like a guy like Andrade turned the trust around with Tony. He went from having all of those backstage problems and wanting to leave to coming back at the end of that contract, reconciling with Tony, I guess, and then proving he's willing to actually work and work well. And he had that great C2 himself, left the company on good terms, you know, when his contract ended. He didn't push for his release or anything. He worked out his contract. He did business. And then, you know, he went back to WWE because he wanted to try to save his marriage. Fair enough, right? Doesn't work out for him on either front, unfortunately. And he comes back, and he's now getting this monster push because Tony trusts him now.
Yep.
So, yeah, like, it's a combination of being good in the ring, being over, and earning that trust, and you will be rewarded in AEW. And that's why it's such a great company, you know? I quickly wanted to point out, and I know you laughed at this. Maria called us wussies. I don't know why you call me one. I thought this was, you know, tame for AEW.
I'm not being squeamish. All I'm saying is let's not pretend like it's not hardcore shit.
It was. I'm just saying we've seen much harder core shit.
Yes. Yes, we have.
Awesome.
Desensitized. You're desensitized.
Other comments here? Yes, that's true. JT saying we can have this discussion one day, but AEW might have the top 10 wrestlers today. Mark Davis is incredible as well. Yeah, like if you think about it, like you could name the top 10 wrestlers in AEW. Davis might not be there. Like we would have to do it out, but dude's so good.
And if we're talking just pure in-ring work, maybe all 10 are AEW. I don't know that that's true. Like,
no, you know why I'm going to say no? Just I think because unless he's all elite too, and we're counting him, but like you can look at a dude like Místico.
Yeah, exactly.
I think he's got to be top 10. But
and even if we go just elsewhere, like TNA has Leon Slater, who is just such a great athlete. New Japan has guys like Yota Tsuji, who is just such a great athlete.
Yeah. If you're doing America, like if you're just doing America, maybe it's all AEW and like Leon Slater, but yeah, it's one of those things
tough
you have
because
to sit
like,
down and do it.
Am I going to say Seth Rollins isn't a top 10 wrestler? Like it's tough. You know?
It really, tough. Dude, prime Seth is.
Yeah, like Kevin Owens back now. Like, am I not fucking excited for him and don't think he's capable of being a top 10 wrestler in the world at any given point? It's tough, but I think AEW, from a pure in-ring standpoint, has a good number of those 10 locked up.
Yeah, and let's also be fair too. There's a different style between all of those companies we just mentioned, but especially I would say WWE being the most glaring, just because they have a very specific style, whereas AEW kind of lets you do whatever you want stylistically as long as it's good. And I think that it kind of applies to the other promotions too, but you know, CMLL is obviously a lot more lucha libre, whether that's high flying or, you know, the technical stuff. And then, you know, New Japan has strong style and whatever else they mix in over there.
Yeah.
So everyone's got their own style. So it becomes sometimes a preference thing as well.
Yeah. Well said.
Yeah, but yeah, you know, it's got a point. Some are obvious. Like Ospreay's on that list. No doubt about it. You know, it also saying, I don't ever recall seeing an instance of blood on the back before. Forehead, yes. Head, yes, but not the back.
If we're talking this match specifically, I don't know that he actually made Ospreay bleed with that barbed wire on the back. In general, I've seen blood on the back before, whether it's thumbtacks, whether it's glass, whether it's like just cuts that have happened. I've seen blood.
I think we've gotten them before in AEW and like blood and guts matches, you know, or anytime anybody gets put into glass, it's not necessarily like that rushing blood that you get from the forehead.
Yeah.
But you'll see like nicks and like small little pockets of blood on people's back when, like you said, going through glass or the bed of nails. You know, especially when they get stuck.
That legitimately scared me.
Yeah, or Spike.
Yeah,
good old Spike. Cope put that in the Moxley's back the one time. He got stuck there.
Didn't he put it in Cage's crotch?
Oh yeah, he did that too. But remember, like he hit Mox with it and it got stuck, and Wheeler had to like peel it off.
That might be one of the most scary things I've seen in professional wrestling.
Yeah, so you don't gush blood out of your back the same way you do your head, but it does happen.
Yeah.
Fernando saying Art the Clown would have been a great guest ref for this match.
Agreed.
Yeah, that was a little bit over my head. Let's see. Oh, Fernando's saying the Davis Pilot driver is the best finish in the business. He deserves to be elevated to the main event scene. I'm not saying make him champ, but a constant challenger for the world championship. And I would agree. He should get some title shots. I don't want to say a shame, but considering the fact that he just lost his feud to Ospreay and Ospreay's about to become,
he would have been a good challenger.
He would have been a really good challenger. I understand why you're doing this match now, but I think he would have been a great challenger because he can be like heel Brody King, you know, where you just got that big old bruising dude who's still highly athletic and can do flippy shit, where you can have him win a match or two and get him into a position where he can challenge for the title, especially against a face fighting champion, and then go in there and, put on a great match and presumably lose.
I talk about this often, that wrestling companies need that Jake the Snake Roberts role of an upper mid-card heel that heats up a baby face on their way to the championship or on their way to main event stuff. And I think Davis is doing that right now with Ospreay. So I think, I would not be opposed to him having a Kevin Knight-like challenge for a title at some point, Like, I don't expect him to win it, but if you want to give him a main event on TV or even somehow at a pay-per-view, I'm not going to say no. I'll question it at a pay-per-view, but I'm not going to say no.
Yeah, at the moment, you never know what happens in the future. But, I think that makes sense. And I can easily see him winning back the national championship at some point, maybe getting the TNT. He might maybe top out at international, but he will continue to win gold.
Yeah, for sure.
I would think that. It's saying about the blood. He was referring to seeing it instantly on the back. Usually see it a minute or two after. Yeah, I guess because barbed wire, like it creates more of a cut, and it was a longer cut in this instance with Ospreay. So I get where you're coming from now. It's a good point. JT was specifying as well that he was talking in ring between AEW and WWE in terms of the best wrestlers. There are great ones all around the world. Yeah, see, that's the thing. You got to sometimes narrow your focus to make that list, because otherwise you're going to be like seriously nitpicking between all the different wrestling companies on the planet. Yeah. And it gets incredibly difficult.
And I could say right now, my top 10 is going to be different than Rev's top 10.
Oh, yeah.
We're going to have some overlap, but our top 10s will be vastly different.
Yeah, but that's why we have, the Wrestling Observer Awards to do that for us.
Exactly.
So we can just read that and we don't have to actually figure it out ourselves. But that, and then you got PWI if you want to do it kayfabe-wise. Okay, Fernando, with this question. If the Knicks don't win a championship, does LeBron sign in LA instead of Philly?
I don't think so.
This is your reminder that the Knicks are your 2025-2026 NBA champions.
I need you to know, guys, he will never get rid of that.
Well, but at least until the start of maybe until the next championship. But for now, it's staying. There is a lot of speculation that was going to be the case. A lot of people think that LeBron was going to sign in New York, and then they won, and he didn't want to look like he was joining the champs and just riding coattails. So good night, JT. You're right. It is 2 a.m. So that's why I'm just going to, that's where I'm going to end that discussion on that and get to, that was Grand Slam Mexico, everyone. It was awesome. This was just top to bottom outside with one promo, and it was a returning fucking MJF. And other than that, this was just top to bottom banger after banger after banger. 10 out of 10, no notes.
Great
Okay,
show.
one note, be quicker referee in the women's match. That's
Second
it.
note, why wasn't Kenny on the show?
Good question.
That's my note.
But other than that, James, I mean, come on.
Oh, I adored the show. I don't have a bad thing to say. It's a 10 out of 10. 10 out of 10
Yeah.
show. Where was Kenny? But yeah, no, I really, really did enjoy the show. And it was kind of said earlier, and I don't know if it was a joke or not, but like 2 5-star candidates tonight.
Yeah, I mean, if you want, what are you calling it? The main event and the
Fletcher
international?
Speedball. Yeah.
Yeah, I think almost everything here is at least a 4. I know Meltzer apparently has this like women's stacks, unfortunately, where he really ranks a lot of the women's matches lower. So I can see him not liking Stavros Persephone. I can see him not liking the women's tag, even though it was really fucking good, and that should be at least a 3.75. But even though I think it was probably closer to a 4. But everything else here, like if he doesn't rate it all 4, he's nuts. But even then, the fact that we got all of those matches being presumably that high ranked on one free show on a Wednesday night is nuts, and is why I fucking love this company.
I completely agree. We joked about something. Not to put down anywhere else, but when we were watching SummerSlam Night 2, and we get the Fatal 4-Way at the beginning of the night, it was Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn, Finn Balor, and Gunther. Yep. You made a comment in one of our group chats that this was like an indie.
Oh, it was an indie wet dream. Yeah,
it was an indie wet dream, and I responded
from like 10 years ago, 15 years ago. But yeah,
and I responded in our chat. I was like, or just a regular Wednesday night.
Yep.
And I think tonight kind of backed up my point on that one. Not to take away from what was a fun match on Sunday and what I thought was a good, successful WWE weekend, but this was just a great night of for what it was. I think they accomplished a lot during the weekend.
I watched Saturday night after Sunday, and I was only like half paying attention to Sunday. Like I don't know, I just couldn't get it. Too many ads, but that's neither here nor there.
And I get that, But I think they had a successful night, a successful weekend. But this is just proof to me that AEW doesn't need to have a SummerSlam to have an incredible night of wrestling. They just need a Wednesday
or a miércoles in this case.
There you go.
Real quick, I know it's late, James, but
let's do it,
boys. What are your thoughts on the Machine Guns? Should they challenge the winners of All In for the tag titles at All Out? How do you book them coming in here to AEW?
This pains me to say it, but no, I don't think you should. And the reason I say that is they debuted last week on Collision, and I was really happy they got to do it in Detroit. I wish they had done it on Dynamite, but I get it. They did it on Collision.
Yeah, I came on tonight last week, and I think I was riding solo, and I was like, man, this show was great. I just really wanted the Machine Guns, and I just hadn't checked Reddit.
Yep. So I would love for them to do it, but they've been there for a week. Let's see if they get any action this Saturday. Let's see if they get anything moving forward. But I love them, but I'm not going to be thrilled if the New Day come in and immediately get a title shot. I'll get it because it's basically the equivalent of Kenny and Bryan when Bryan came in.
Didn't get a title shot, though. He just got the match.
Just got the match. And quite frankly, wouldn't mind if that's what they do. Go a time limit. Build it up. But as much as I love the Guns and I want they should win the AEW tag titles at some point. They should be in the tag title scene at some point. They shouldn't just walk in and go for the tag titles. I just don't think they should.
Presuming you want them at All In, do you put them in the Casino Gauntlet? Or, they do have their own singles careers. They've done that before. I know they're coming in as the Motor City Machine Guns, but considering I don't really think they have anything else for them at the moment, unless they cook something up in the next couple of weeks, you could throw them in the Gauntlet and get them on the show.
You could. I don't know that I necessarily would. I'm not going to be mad if they show up there. I don't know that I necessarily would put them in that situation, but it would be a good way of getting them both on the card. I'm just not interested in any capacity of them like striking each other or doing anything to each other.
Yeah,
I think AEW audiences, for the most part, are going to know who they are. But there is also going to be a contingent of the audience that doesn't really know them. And let's be honest, I'm not trying to be rude to Collision. Collision doesn't have the viewership that Dynamite has. So there is a contingent of the audience who will not know who they are at all.
Or that they join the company.
Yeah. So don't confuse the matter by having them not be a tag team out the gate. Yes, I am happy to see them do single stuff the same way the Rascals did. The Rascals came in and a bunch of them did single stuff, established them as a tag team, and then have them do single stuff too. But yeah, I'm looking forward to the Guns getting integrated very, very soon. And I'd be happy if they won the tag titles by the end of 2026. But I don't think they should just walk in and get the tag title shot.
Yeah. And I will also echo that with the New Day, if and when they show up, whatever they're called. I would think that's probably going to be a similar thing where they're probably not going to win right off the bat, or challenge for that matter. But at the same time, if the Bucks win the titles, I think it might be a different story. Just because history on both sides. Yeah. But we'll see what happens.
And we're talking New Day or
both. I think Machine Guns have a lot of history with the Bucks, and the Bucks would be like, you know what, we love going against you guys. Fuck it, let's go.
I think that's likely too.
And also, New Day comes in, the Bucks are going to be like, we need to have this match. We've always wanted to have this match. We're having this fucking match. Let's go. Like, titles are not, you know, at least on the second one. The New Day.
I think we know what their name's going to be now.
Oh, yeah, they said it in the Instagram thing, right? I just forgot what it
Daybreak.
was. Yeah, Daybreak. Yeah,
which is a good name.
Me gusta.
Yeah.
You know what also is saying, I bet we get Guns versus Guns.
I mean, so don't know if you guys know this, or if you know it, you know it. Yeah, I didn't mean it. I just couldn't get around it.
Too many you know it's, baby.
Jay White was essentially taken in by the Guns, the Machine Guns. Like when he was going on excursion from Japan and he was a young baby-faced babyface, he literally lived with the Machine Guns.
Oh, he's their Okada?
Yeah, no, absolutely. His finish is Alex Shelley's finish. He took the Blade Runner.
Use that. That's cool.
The Blade Runner is Alex Shelley's Shell Shocked. So I would not be shocked if they found a way to get them into the Bang Bang Gang. I just think they're going to do it because the Guns are there.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if they acknowledge it at some point or another, but
yeah.
That's why I thought, you know, they could always make a save.
Yeah. Oh, no. There is no doubt we're going to see Jay White teaming up with the Machine Guns at some point. The same way he teamed up with Cope and it's like an inter-team thing. He will absolutely team/interact with the Machine Guns sooner than later.
Yeah. I thought they were going to make the save with the whole, I think it was the whole Bandido thing last week, right? But it ended up being Hangman. So, hey, it worked out for them very clearly. All right, let's see. Last thing here from Peter Anthony Fernandez. What's going on, my guy? There is one guy, and he will be debated for years to come. And he was such a young talent to WCW and crossover WWF. Now WWE has seen Sean
O'Hara.
Sean O'Hara. His Devil Advocate promo was amazing. Bless his soul.
I loved Sean O'Hara. My main exposure to him was WWE when he was the Devil's Advocate. He was partnered up with Roddy Piper. He was a big guy who was very, very athletic. And I think he just got dealt a very bad hand. It's well known, or it's kind of well known, that unfortunately he was just not great at delivering promos live in the ring. He would freeze up, which is why they partnered him with Roddy Piper. But when you had him cutting pre-taped promos or vignettes or segments, he was like magic. It's just they did not trust him with a microphone in the ring, and it hurt him. And then unfortunately he had some personal issues that got in the way of his career moving forward. But his time in WCW proved how good he was. Everyone was really excited to see him in WWE. As a kid, I was excited. I thought he was a cool heel, but he'll always be a very big what if in professional wrestling, and it's a shame that his life went the way that it did, and we treat him with nothing but respect in that regard. But yeah, Sean O'Hara was great, and I wish that things had turned out different for him.
Well said.
And who's your one guy from WWE in your top 10? Fuck, I know. I don't know why I said it. I walked into
It's Spike, and he's number one.
Oh God.
All right. I don't think we could do any better than that. And considering we've been on for longer than Dynamite,
Yep.
I would like
it's about the same.
Yeah, give or take. I guess there was an overrun, but I would like to thank everyone so much for watching us here at the Mark It Down Podcast. We appreciate it if you like and subscribe. If you like the video, it lets us know that you're enjoying what we're doing here on the show. Keep doing it. If you guys comment, we can make improvements and chop it up with you guys in the actual more permanent comments instead of just the live chat as well. And if you subscribe, you can get all the great stuff here on the channel. We will have the Gym Pack Zone tomorrow, I presume.
That is the plan. That is the plan. No promises. That's the plan.
And then we will, maybe do something for Monday Night Raw. I don't know. Whenever Matt feels like doing Friday or Mondays, then he does that. And we'll
bigger
be back.
thing is we're going to be a hog.
Getting there.
You didn't say it. We'll be jumping to Monday.
I know. Because we don't normally do hog every week because it's not every week. We will be back here again next Wednesday for Dynamite. As James already said, we will be attending House of Glory on this Friday. So keep a lookout for some of the things here on the YouTube channel. And also we will be doing a lot of stuff over on our social media. So if you want to check us out there, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, Twitter, or Blue Sky. And you're here on YouTube, you can follow those links in the description below. Otherwise, Twitter is at @marketdown_pod. Instagram is at marketdownpod, youtube.com /@marketdownpod or /@marketdown, or just /marketdown3665, marketdownpod.bsky.social if you want to chop it up with me over on Blue Sky, or just search Mark It Down Podcast on any of your social media platforms. If we're not there, let us know. We'll make an account and we can hang out with you guys over there. As mentioned, we're going to be doing a lot of House of Glory stuff this weekend, so be sure to check that out. There's some good stuff. Eddie Kingston's going to be there. I'm excited. We're getting Jay vs. Midas this weekend.
Yes, we are.
Hell yeah. So our boys, the main event, have been beefing. They're finally having their big match on Friday. So we'll be sure to be doing a lot of stuff with that. Any last things, James, before we go?
We will be working on some other things that we can't quite talk about, but things we're excited to share with you guys when it's completed. And just be ready. The channel is growing. Matt's doing a great job of expanding us on social media. I know Rev already hyped that up, but yeah, we have a lot of fun stuff out there right now, guys. So get ready.
Yeah, Matt does a good job. You guys should give him a follow, and you can definitely keep up with a lot of the more indie stuff, like local here in New York that Matt goes to. He does a lot of good stuff with that. So be sure to check him out.
Absolutely.
All right. Thank you, everyone in the chat. For James Ashanti, my name is Nick Cummings. Thank you so much for watching us here at the Mark It Down Podcast. Buenos noches, todos mis amigos.